Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Sorry about that. I had to wipe off the lens on my iPhone here. I'm at the station today, so if you don't see the graphic background, that means I'm not at home. I decided to take my show on the road. Man, I decided that I was gonna go ahead and work from the station today. I'm in here alone, so I don't have to really too much worry about anybody coming in here. For the most part, we've been practicing social distancing from the station. So I'm gonna go ahead and go live here on YouTube real quick. It's been a while since I've been live on YouTube. Probably mostly because most of the time when I'm going live on YouTube, rather it's at home. Most of the time when I'm at home, it's always buffering and people don't really hear it and it's skipping and stuff like that. So that's the reason why decided to start pre-recording my videos and stuff like that to give you all the best quality. And I want to make sure that you all fully understand what I'm saying and also, just get the full effect of it. Eventually you will probably go back to the live aspect where people can actually call in and interact and stuff like that. I want to get back to that, but of course, I just want to go ahead and just give you all the best I can possibly give you when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. Andy, good morning to you. Let me go ahead and get some shots out real quick. Shouts out to my guy Jerry, Zoe. Is that Scooby Doo? If it ain't Scooby, what I'm saying? The shout out to Scoob. I just call him Scoob for short. Dwayne, my guy, man. What I'm saying? Thank you for following me on Instagram and Twitter. Once again, Annie, good morning. Gigatus, good morning too. So, let's go ahead and get started, man. Let's talk about these topics that need to be discussed. Let's talk about some of the stuff that people wanted to talk about. My emails have been flooded by people wanting me to talk about Alvin Kamara. King Arthur, man, what's going on, bruh? What I'm saying? Appreciate that comment that you left in the last video. I promise I'm gonna get to that. But let's go ahead and talk about Alvin Kamara, man. Something that's been flooding my inboxes. People wanted to know what do I think about Alvin Kamara? What do I think about Christian McCaffrey's new contract? How is it going to affect Alvin Kamara? People asking me about Alvin Kamara signing with Clutch Sports. How's that going to affect the Saints and how it's going to affect contract negotiations? The fact of the matter is this. Whether you like the Carolina Panthers or you don't, okay? I live out here in South Carolina, which I'm about 3 hours away from Charlotte. So, I run into my fair share of Carolina Panther fans. Carolina Panther fans, in my opinion, are not as obnoxious as Atlanta Falcons fans. They're not as annoying. But I will say this. I'll be ripping them. Thank you for the $2. I will say this. I got a lot of respect for the Carolina Panthers fans, and I got a lot of respect for Christian McCaffrey. Last year, Christian McCaffrey was the whole entire Carolina Panthers team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy put up over 2,300 total yards. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2,392 yards, 1,005 receiving, about 1,387 rushing. This man was the whole entire team. All right. This guy deserves every single penny that he got. I don't want to hear this stuff that people been sending me talking about, oh, because he's a white running back, he gets the majority of the money. Of course, he'll be the all-time highest paid running back. Man, bump all that. Look, let's not put race into this. Christian McCaffrey, regardless what color he is, he's an incredible running back. This guy can run between the tackles. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run routes kind of similar to wide receivers, and he finds ways of getting into the end zone. And you could possibly make an argument to say if the Carolina Panthers wouldn't have sucked last season, more than likely he probably would have been, really a serious contender to Michael Thomas's Offensive Player of the Year award. The guy earned his money. $64 million contract, $16 million base salary. He deserves it. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Alvin Kamara and Chris McCaffrey, and let's talk about the similarities and differences. Alvin Kamara can do it all. Okay, Alvin Kamara spends his time after practice running routes with wide receivers. to work on his hands, to work on his route running, to work on his timing. That's what he does. He can run between the tackles. His rookie season, he averaged about 5.5 yards per carry. Okay, he was offensive rookie of the year. He's done all of these great things, man. Alvin Kamara was incredible. I think, what really, catapulted him and brought him into the spotlight was the game against the Detroit Lions when we really seen his skill set on display. Him jumping over defenders, him like with just being so slippery, and his calm, cool demeanor, and the way that he, just walks around the city as if he just a regular, everyday guy. That made us in a Who Dat Nation gravitate to him. Girls think he look good. Guys think he cool. That's a good combination. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram were a great 1-2 punch his second season. Most of the time, they were doing interviews together. 9 times out of 10, they were doing interviews together, and there was some funny stuff. Mark Ingram is a very funny guy in his own right, and Alvin Kamara, I feel like Mark Ingram kind of helped him, break out of his shell a little bit more, transitioning from rookie to his sophomore year. Alvin Kamara's first 2 years were incredible. This last season that we had, not so much. Okay, he really didn't do much. A lot of people feel like that had a lot to do with Mark Ingram leaving, going to Baltimore. I'm not one of those people. I feel like Alvin Kamara was hurt most of the season. Looking back and going back and watching some of the games and looking at how normally in the first 2 seasons he would accelerate through the hole, he would maneuver, he would break through tackles, he would try to run through a guy instead of running out of bounds. I have to say that, I think that he really was hurt. And I know we don't want to hear that. I know we're like, man, whatever. But the guy did, for the first 2 years of his career, he put up some good numbers. Okay, so back to the similarities between him and Christian McCaffrey. They both can catch the ball out of backfield. They both can run between the tackles. The difference is Alvin Kamara is not an every down back. Christian McCaffrey is. And we have to take that into account. And so does Alvin Kamara. And I'm pretty sure the Saints are going to take that into account. Whether you want to take it into account or not, he is not an every down back. The Saints are a team that shares a backfield. They have multiple running backs. And, one running back will be able to catch the ball out of backfield, run between the tackles, and then they have that bell cow back that's a little bit bigger that can take the wear and tear. That's how the Saints always been since 2006. We had Pierre Thomas, and then, along with Deuce McAllister and Reggie Bush, catching the ball out of the backfield. And when Deuce McAllister left, we had Pierre Thomas, who I feel like is one of the greatest screen runners I've ever seen in my entire life. I think this guy was the king of the screen game. But you also had Reggie Bush, who was running, who was making people miss and catching the ball. This has always been a formula for the Saints. If Alvin Kamara wants to get the money that Christian McCaffrey got, he's going to have to go out there and find another team. It's just as simple as that. He's going to have to go out there and find another team where he can be the every down back. Rather it be like somewhere like Detroit or maybe Miami or somewhere like that. That's the only way he is going to be a every down, get that money that Christian McCaffrey got if he becomes a every down back. He's not going to get that type of money with the New Orleans Saints because, in my opinion, Alvin Kamara, he don't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Looking at how he plays, he does not deserve to be the highest paid running back. Now, I understand it's not about who's the best, it's about who's available. Do I feel like he needs to be making close to that? Absolutely. I feel like, maybe like $12 to $13 million would be suffice. But when we talk about $17, $18 million, absolutely not. That ain't happening, Captain. You know what I'm saying? Maybe for another team, maybe for a team that's struggling, maybe for a team that's trying to put some behinds in seats, maybe something like that. But he not getting that type of money. And if I was the New Orleans Saints, I wouldn't give him that type of money. Look, this isn't a popularity contest. This is a business. We've been Saints fans for a long time, some of us longer than others. I talk to people all the time, talk about how they've been Saints fans since 1967, the expansion year, People been Saints fans their whole entire life. Look, there was no Alvin Kamara back in the day. You know what I'm saying? The business and the wheels are going to continue to turn, whether Alvin Kamara is a New Orleans Saint or not. We were so upset last season that Mark Ingram left, and we were like, man, this team ain't going to be the same and all that kind of stuff there. But at the end of the day, the wheels keep turning. I mean, we see Mark Ingram, he's wearing purple and black now. That's just the way that it goes. This is a business. It's not about, you know, who does, you know, the funniest stuff in interviews. It's not about who makes you dance. It's not about, you know what I'm saying, who has the best celebrations. It's a business. I'm a Saints fan first, folks. I'm a Saints fan. Okay, I could care less about how the Saints win football games. And, you know, I do feel like this guy does need to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like people stand that this guy, because he's up for a contract, need to get out of town. I think that's the most asinine thing that I've ever heard in my entire life, okay? You can't just kick guys out of the door just because, you know what I'm saying, they up for a contract. Now, you can say how much they're worth, but when people talking about Alvin Kamara need to leave and they need to go ahead and try to trade him, man, y'all got to be some of the biggest fools walking the face of God's green earth. I'm just calling. I'm sorry, but anybody that's talking about this man, you know what I'm saying, as if this guy's just damaged goods or terrible just because he didn't have a season similar to the first two seasons, I can't get down with you, man. I can't roll with you. You know, so I feel like that just completely asinine because on one hand, how in the world can you sit up here and criticize the Saints organization about questioning, you know, the Who That Nation for questioning a 41-year-old quarterback coming back, but you don't want to keep a 24-year-old running back that has his whole career ahead of him? That's just absolutely ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous. Okay, if the Saints can't come to an agreement with the contract, if he's asking for way too much, then you know what I'm saying, you think about the trade. But you in no way think about just because this guy's going to demand a certain amount of money, then you kick him out of the door. I mean, people was up there like, how do we forget how even though the Minneapolis Miracle happened, you know, the Saints were leading in that game until like the last 10 seconds when the Vikings did. You know what I'm saying? The Vikings won the game. Do anybody remembers how the Saints got that lead? It was a fade route to the back of the end zone by who? Alvin Kamara, who caught the football. So we forget about all of these things right here because, you know, we are the most bipolar fans in the history of sports, in my opinion. We love somebody 1 minute. We love them first down, second down, third down. We hate them, okay? Alvin Kamara deserves his money, and that's all there is to it, man. Does he deserve to be the highest paid running back in the history of the NFL? No, he does not, okay? He does not do what Christian McCaffrey does. And anybody that thinks that they're the same type of back, they are not, okay? They are not. If I had to pick a team right now, and this is probably about to tick a lot of people off in the Who That Nation, but I'll roll with Christian McCaffrey before I roll with Alvin Kamara. I mean, because of what he has done. But what he has done during his time in the National Football League, him showing me that he can run between the tackles, him showing me he can catch out of the backfield, and some of the things that he does, Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion right now, is better. This guy's a two-time All-Pro. I mean, he's been to the Pro Bowl multiple times. He deserves his money, okay? Alvin Kamara is, not, in my opinion right now, I'm not saying that he can't be. I'm saying right now, Christian McCaffrey is a better overall running back than Alvin Kamara. Okay, he can change my mind because y'all know how I do, man. You know, I just go by what I see. I change my mind, you know, when I feel like it's necessary. But as of right now, today, on this day, Christian McCaffrey is better than Alvin Kamara. So I feel like if we're talking about contracts, you know, and who deserves what, Chris McCaffrey deserves to be the highest paid running back in the National Football League for what he has done since he's been in the NFL. Alvin Kamara has not done what Chris McCaffrey has done. Period. Sorry. So I'll go ahead and open the floor up to you all and see what you all have to say. I won't go back too far. Let me go stroll down just a tad bit. Let's see. Scoob says, as long as Ireland keeps drafting. Hold on one second. Anyway, he'll call back. That was the production manager. He's working from across the street, so he probably gonna call me and try to see wanted to ask me a question. But if he calls back, I'm gonna have to take that. But let's see. Let me go ahead and I'm looking down this timeline here. I don't want to go back too far. I apologize, folks, because I know I said quite a bit. Why would anybody want to get rid of Kamara? Only way would be if he wants to break the bank. Yep, that's the only way, Chad. I agree. The only way you get rid of Alvin Kamara if he just act for just a ridiculous amount of money. What's up? Stay safe in the city. Yeah, man. Nola East 74. Hey man, I got a bone to pick with you, my friend. That video that I seen the comments. He's talking about Drew Brees now, man. And I want to know why you feel like Drew Brees is overrated. You know, I want to know why. I seen that comment, my friend. C-Mac is a great running back, but Kamara has the potential to be the most explosive running back in history. Gully, I absolutely agree. That is why I'm saying that I am going to reserve my judgment. Well, I won't say I want to reserve my judgment, but I want to have a right. I have a right to change my mind. But I'm saying today, Christian McCaffrey is better than Alvin Kamara. I agree 100%. Saints not going to pay him 16 or 17 million, I'm sure. So why not trade? You don't trade him because he might not be asking for that. Okay? And to be honest with you, guys are not signing like these 5 and 6 year deals no more. They're signing like 2 and 3 year deals. So if he plays a couple, good years, and let's just say he surpasses what Christian McCaffrey does. Let's say if he surpasses what Christian McCaffrey does, then you go back to the table again and renegotiate your contract. But right now, you haven't done what Christian McCaffrey has done. But in the Saints offense, we always gonna be top 3 no matter if Kamara here or not. Disagree with that. I don't agree with that. Look, everything is not plug and place. I think we get it misconstrued sometimes as Saints fans. So I think sometimes like we just think that anybody can do what some of these guys are doing. Yes, Sean Payton put these guys in place to succeed, but I mean it takes a special type of guy to do what Alvin Kamara is doing or what Mark Ingram is doing. And if you don't believe me, man, just look at last year. You know what I'm saying? There was a huge drop off in the running game. The Titans running back kind of did the same as Christian McCaffrey. Annie, to a certain extent, when you're talking about running between the tackles and being a bell cow back, yeah. But man, Derrick Henry was on like a whole nother level towards the end of the season and going into the playoffs. This guy was virtually unstoppable. They're not the same type of running back, and Christian McCaffrey gives a different dynamic because he can catch out of the backfield. Derrick Henry, the Titans don't really require him or ask him to really be catching the ball on wheel routes and running out for skinny posts and stuff like that. They don't really ask him to do stuff like that. They basically just tell him to run the rock, get them 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and wear down the defense. So they're a little bit different, but I can understand what you're saying about it because they both rely on those guys to perform at a high level. Peyton can help Kamara become legendary and have an extensive career, which means long-term money. Okay, Chad, I agree with that, but sometimes it don't happen that way. Once upon a time, Marshall Faulk, shouts out to Marshall Faulk, a former Carver Ram. He played for the Indianapolis Colts, man, and I'm pretty sure the Indianapolis Colts fans thought that he was going to be there forever too. He ended up going to St. Louis, being a part of the greatest show on turf, and the rest is history. And now he's being compared to, by some of these running backs that's today. You know what I'm saying? Alvin Kamara. A lot of people look at Marshall Faulk and say that Alvin Kamara is the second coming of Marshall Faulk. I kind of agree with that. I don't think Alvin Kamara even tapped the potential of what he can be. He's only going to get better because he's a really smart football player. Really smart. He's a really smart football player. Let's see. Martin says, unlike Alvin, Christian McCaffrey has only gotten better each year. Alvin Kamara has gotten better each year. You know, he just had a down season. You know what I'm saying? Like he was hurt. Like I said, man, like come on, man. Like what are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Yeah, we gonna pretend like this man really wasn't hurt. We gonna pretend like this man like really didn't look the same than he did these last 2 seasons. We gonna pretend that. We gonna pretend. I don't get it. You know, I don't get it, man. I'm gonna get a guy a benefit of the doubt. Was I upset at him during the season? Yeah, but when I go back and look and compare his seasons and the way that he will make decisions on the field, yeah, I feel like he was playing it safe. And I feel like, yeah, he probably was running out of bounds instead of running through people because he felt as if he can possibly be hurt, and by him being out, it can really damage the team. So I don't know. I'll get a man a benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to erase what a guy did for the first 2 seasons of his career. He only been in the NFL for 3, and just gonna say that he a bum. Nah, man. And I'm not gonna treat him that way either. Call me. I feel like anybody that's treating Alvin Kamara like that is just absolutely wrong. It's just wrong. Derrick Henry is the only running back that can get paid more than Chris McCaffrey, and no one would criticize him. I agree with that because asking for more out of their player than the Tennessee Titans is with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry running that rock 30, 40 times like it's 1995 or something like that, man. Like when running backs was running the ball over 40 times, like this guy's like a throwback running back. So yeah, I feel like he's the only person that people aren't going to criticize. But once again, I guess it's not always about being good. It's not always about being good. It's about who's available. Because I mean, we have seen some straight hot garbage get some big time contracts and done absolutely nothing. I disagree. He's the only thing the Panthers got, so they run the offense through him. Okay, I'm gonna put it like this: if he wasn't as good as he is, as I'm saying that he is, how could they possibly run their offense through him? If you're saying that, and honestly, that basically, you know, gives what I'm saying credibility. He is all they had. So, and honestly, let me tell y'all what makes players great. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's kill this noise right now. I'm about to tell each and every one of you what makes a player great. What makes a player great, rather it's baseball, rather it's football, rather it's basketball, when everybody in the building, stadium, dome, whatever, everybody knows that you are going to get the ball. Everybody knows that you're going to get the ball. Happy birthday, Gilberto. Gilberto, happy birthday. When everybody knows that you're going to get the football or the basketball or you're going to be at bat, everybody knows what's going to happen. And so teams and coaches stay up all night trying to scheme and make sure that they come up with a game plan to stop you, and they still can't stop you. That is what makes players great. So, Christian McCaffrey, being everything that the Carolina Panthers say that he is, being the number one guy, being the primary focus, and yet this guy still went out there and put up big time numbers. That is what makes a player great. Think about this. What makes Drew Brees great? What makes Drew Brees great? Everybody knows that the Saints were going to throw the football about 35, 40 times a game. And yet they still can't stop Drew Brees. What makes Michael Thomas great? When everybody knows that he is going to get the majority of the targets and they still can't stop him. That is what makes players great. That is what separates the good from the great. Okay? As of right now, I have never seen a team that has tried to stop Alvin Kamara and focus primarily on Alvin Kamara. I have not, okay? Because they can't do that. Okay? They and when they do, 9 times out of 10, I'm sorry, folks, and we don't like this team, but when the Dallas Cowboys played the New Orleans Saints, those linebackers, Jalen Smith, Lathan Vander Esch, they stopped Alvin Kamara. I've never really seen a team stop Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, you probably stopped him in the first quarter, second quarter, third, fourth quarter. This man is on. That is what makes players great, folks. That is why when I come up here and I talk about players, I evaluate that. I can care less about them outrunning somebody and catching a touchdown. That don't make you great. That don't make you great, outrunning somebody. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do when Bill Belichick stays up all night, when Sean Payton stays up all night, when Todd Bowles stays up all night, when these great defensive and offensive minds stay up all night to stop you, rather you play on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball? Can you find ways to get home and sack that quarterback? Can you find ways to shut down that wide receiver if you're a cornerback? Can you find ways to beat that elite cornerback when it comes to getting a target? That's what makes you great. When Christian McCaffrey hits the field, everybody knows that he's going to get that football. And nobody can stop him. Nobody. I'm sorry. Rather, you may not want to agree with that, but it's true. But we've seen people shut down Alvin Kamara. I've seen it. We've seen people take Alvin Kamara out. Jalen Smith almost knocked this man clean up out of the game. Debo Jones knocked him out of the game. So I'm not saying that Alvin Kamara can't be great, but from what I see, he can't be stopped. That's the difference between good and great, Who Dat Nation. Yep, I said it. Zoe, Michael Thomas, absolutely. Zoe V, Michael, that's the same thing. You know, Michael Thomas, he's hard to stop. Seth says, I'm with you, TJ. Kamara laid down last year. I won't say he laid down. I just feel like he just kind of played it safe. Let's just call it that. I'm going to say he played it safe. Yeah, so I don't want to say that he just phoned it in. At first, I'm going to be honest with you. If you go back to a couple episodes, I'm probably going to sound hypocritical because I was saying I feel like he phoned it in. But I don't know, man. When you have time to just look, you ain't got nothing to do but look at old Saints footage. and, you know, I can say, man, he was not the same guy. He was not. I know I went on a little tangent, man, but at the same time, I just had to say that. Because I think we get things misconstrued sometimes because, you know, we think that these players are the same. They not. You know who good and you know who great if you go back and look at the tape. When Ty Gurley got cut by the Lambs, anything's possible. I think McCaffrey will restructure his contract sooner than not. It's a inflated contract for sure. Yeah. He might, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I mean, honestly, it's about those signing bonuses. That's what it's mostly about. These guys want that money up front because they know towards the back end of their contract, they probably never gonna see that money. They probably never gonna see that bread. So they trying to get that money right now. Right now. So he probably got a good signing bonus. Let's see. It's probably Peyton that was telling him to play it safe, though. Yeah, it probably was. And honestly, man, I can't too much blame him, man. Like, man, we fans sitting at home telling these guys, man, we don't know what these guys be going through. You know, we don't know like the pain and some of these injection shots and some of these pills they probably taking in order for them to be up for this game. You know what I'm saying? How much pain they be in. We don't know, man. We only just see them on the field and we just assume they're healthy enough to play. Them guys be playing with screws in they foot and they arm and shoot separations and stuff like that, man. So ain't no telling, man. He did have a knee in like a I don't know, it was like a knee and an ankle injury or whatever like that, like two, like back-to-back weeks. Kamara now they 16 million per year. No way. So what's the point here? Trade him then. No, man. I'm not. Come on, bro. Right now. So you would trade this man right now? Come on, bro. One, you would trade Alvin Kamara right now without even going to the table and negotiate a contract with this guy. Now, it's not like I don't know. It's not like the Jimmy Graham situation, okay? Jimmy Graham wanted to be paid like a wide receiver, and Jimmy Graham pouted and boo-hooed and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, when dudes doing stuff like that, man, get out my face. But if you come to a guy and be like, man, okay, we can give you 2 to 3 years or whatever like that, and then, what I'm saying, let's just say if you do this, we restructure your contract. Something like that. So you're not even going to talk to the guy. You're going to be like, well, trade him. Well, let me tell you something, why? Let me go on another tangent here. You, my friend, are going to have a very hard time getting free agents inside of your organization if you're doing business like that. Regardless to how you want to do business, you got to look at it this way. Teams are not going to want, or players are not going to want to come to your team during free agency if they see how you treat other players. If you out here just trading people just willy-nilly left and right and showing absolutely no respect to those guys and not really even like talking or negotiating with their agents before they actually come to that conclusion, or you basically trading them for absolutely nothing or trading them to a team that what a lot of people consider NFL purgatory. You're going to have a hard time when those good free agents that you're going to possibly need are up. They're going to look the other way because they look how you do business. For example, I know this is a different sport, but let's look at basketball, okay? Let's look at the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are one of the most famous and popular franchises in the history of sports, okay? Madison Square Garden is the Mecca. If you play in Madison Square Garden, you feel like you've been somewhere, okay? They say you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. However, the owner of the New York Knicks, people don't like him, don't respect him. So when the Knicks need a free agent, they decide to go a couple boroughs over to Brooklyn and play for the Nets instead of the Knicks. And why is that? Because of the treatment of the players when they were in the organization. So remember that next time, folks, when we're talking about trading these guys to the Browns and trading these guys to the Bengals and trading these guys to the Dolphins, people that have top 3 picks, remember, when we like, oh, I want this dude right here in free agency. Oh, I want that dude over here in free agency. He'll help the team. And when the team brings that player in, and he's playing on his phone, not really paying that much attention because he's really not interested, but his agent probably told him, man, just see what they're talking about. Remember, that trade that you made, he probably friends with that guy. Guys talk, ladies and gentlemen. So be careful with that one. You can't just talk about just trading a guy to just, to build up your resume. Teams, you got to be careful with that, man. There's a reason why, when guys get traded, they talk to, the teams talk to these guys. They talk to them, and they let them know what they're doing. They let them know why they're doing it, okay? So I heard people talking about trading Alvin Kamara to the Bengals for Joe Burrow, which is the single most ridiculous trade I would ever even think of. I don't know. I don't know if we're playing, life like we're playing Madden and you turn the salary cap off. But life don't work like that. Or you enable the trade logic on 2K or something like that. You can't play life like that, man. Like teams aren't gonna just be willing to just give away some of these top picks. These guys look at those top picks as the future of their franchises. Let's see. Christian McCaffrey didn't play it safe even while being hurt. Depends on the injury he had. And then the Panthers were a losing team. This depends on the injury that he had. I think Kamara next year will have 1,700 total yards, 90 receptions, and 15 total touchdowns. What would you pay him after a year like that. Then we can talk about maybe being the highest paid running back then. Because nine times out of ten, if you have those type of yards, you went over 1,000. You probably had like 1,200 yards, 1,200 yards rushing. Yeah, something like that. And then the rest of the yards probably come in receiving. So yeah, let's see. I have online school at 11. Man, good luck, bruh. If this is Drew last season, get rid of AK would be an absolute stupid idea, no matter what we think. Yep. Man, we always talking about trade. We'll trade everybody. We'll trade anybody on the team. We'll talk about trading anybody on the team. But let somebody say something about trading Drew Brees or something. Or Drew Brees needs to retire, boy. We ready with our pitchforks in our hands. It don't make no sense. Anybody talking about trading Alvin Kamara, man, after not having a contract negotiation with this man is ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's just absolutely ridiculous, man. You don't trade guys like that because they had a down season. You don't do stuff like that, man. How do we forget the joy that these players give us? Dudes have 1 year, one bad game, get them up out of town. I ought to be a Saints fan. Kamara should take like 12 to 13 million. Yeah, I agree. Peyton offense made Jimmy. I agree with that too. Let's see. Kareem Hunt. What are you, Sad? What are you talking about with Kareem Hunt? Can you elaborate on that? Are you saying that the Saints need to look into getting Kareem Hunt, or I have to know what you mean by that. My question is this: as good as Kamara is, why would y'all want to trade him? I don't know either. Yes, I guarantee he will take less money. Yeah, I agree. Give him less years, less money. Chad, honestly, man, it's just a peeing contest, and y'all know what I mean by peeing contest. It's like who has the most strokes. So if the Saints gave him a 3-year contract, and that 3-year contract was, so many $1 million a year, and close to or a little bit more than Chris McCaffrey, I feel like he'll have the leverage, even though Chris McCaffrey will have a bigger contract over a certain amount of years. That's what it's all about. It's about leverage. Mark Ingram had 15 touchdowns last season with about 1,300 total yards. Yeah, Mark Ingram had that on a team that was a run-first offensive team, and also they had one of the best running offensive lines in all of football. So him having 15 total touchdowns is not a surprise to me at all. Okay, they run the football out there. It's cold. You know what I'm saying? You're in a stadium. You're in M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. You're going to run the football. Okay, and also you got to think about the time of possession as well. The Baltimore Ravens, since Jamal Lewis was their running back, always wanted to play good defense and control the time of possession. The Saints, not so much, okay? The Saints, not so much. They don't care about time of possession. They just want to throw the football all over the place. That's two different types of teams right there. And then we all can agree, honestly, man, whether you like Mark Ingram or not, I think we all can agree that he was a power back even when he was at Alabama. And who knows, to be honest with you, what his career could have been if he probably would have went to a run-dependent team. We probably would have been looking at him like we looked at Marshawn Lynch. You never know. It's just the way the Saints used him and the way the Saints' offensive line was structured. I don't think it's a coincidence that towards the later parts of his career, he started to become a better running back. Let's see. I don't think y'all understand how much of a matchup nightmare Kamara is. I do. I do. What Red Fox said on Hall Nights, I do. I understand what he means to the team. I understand the interesting dynamic that he brings. And, I just think sometimes Saints fans, because we seen Pierre Thomas do it and we seen Reggie Bush do it, which meant I think we all can agree to this. Alvin Kamara is a better overall back than Reggie Bush was his first 3 seasons. I guarantee you we can agree with that. Everybody can't do what this guy does, man. He's special. He is special, folks. Sproles was a matchup nightmare. What happened to him? Sproles was not. Oh man, bruh. What are we doing, man? What are we doing, Rook? What are we doing, man? Darren Sproles. Look, I'm about to make people mad again. Darren Sproles is not a better overall back than Alvin Kamara. He was not. It was the way the Saints, you know what I'm saying? The way the Saints utilized him, it was very beneficial. Okay, it was. It was very beneficial. But when we're talking about overall, Alvin Kamara is better than Darren Sproles. He is. Watch, in a couple of years, you're going to see. Okay, no disrespect to Darren Sproles. No, he made the all-decade team. But Alvin Kamara came in and he basically just shot to the stratosphere. And the crazy thing about it is this guy's doing what Darren Sproles was doing midway through his career with a stop with the Saints. Alvin Kamara is doing this at the beginning of his career. So he hasn't even touched the surface of what he can be. Sorry. I like Darren Sproles. I've been rocking with Darren Sproles since Kansas State. I'll never forget when Darren Sproles single-handedly beat Oklahoma in a Big 12 championship game. I remember when Darren Sproles was out there in San Diego, when he single-handedly beat the Jacksonville Jaguars in the playoffs. I like Darren Sproles. I respect the heck out of Darren Sproles. I feel like Darren Sproles arguably, well, I won't even say arguably, to me, is the greatest little man in the history of the NFL. But what he is over the course of his career, Alvin Kamara has been that for the last 3 years. So that tells me that Alvin Kamara has room to grow and Darren Sproles reached this ceiling. Well, I mean, Alvin Kamara is 24 years old, 23 years old. Guy, man, come on. This man still got another 8-9 years in NFL. He is not like, no. Mm-mm. He has done, honestly, he is a bigger threat than Darren Sproles was. Because Darren Sproles can run wide receiver routes like Alvin Kamara can. And if Alvin Kamara can run routes like a wide receiver, it's going to take a special linebacker to stop him in games. Darren Sproles was, you know, I mean, he was just shifty and wiggly, and it was hard to catch him. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to catch somebody like 5'6" and you like 6'3", 6'4". How can you not like Mark Ingram? Mark Ingram was incredible, man. We just need blocking and to get AK more touches. I agree with that. We need to be a little bit more patient in the running game. Y'all don't want me to get on that. Y'all don't want me to start talking about running game. Please, let's move forward. After signing Emmanuel Sanders, AK will be a problem this year. I agree. We need to use AK correctly as per his talents. I agree with that too. I agree. I want us to draft the offensive lineman. I do too. I do too. Mark Ingram might not be in the league if he went to another team. We had to switch to a zone run scheme just to get him positive yards. I totally 100% disagree with that, Chad. I totally disagree with that. When Mark Ingram came into the National Football League in 2011, the Saints were a finesse team. And they were soft. Okay, I'm saying it. Yes. The Saints were soft as Dr. Cottonelle tissue, a baby's bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like snug, you know what I'm saying? Snuggles the bear. They were soft. These boys had no aggression to them. They was getting pumped all over the field. They were a finesse team. They were a lineup, you know what I'm saying? Run 10 and in, I'm going to throw you the ball. Run a post and a catch of the ball. Them boys was soft. Okay? Defensively, offensively, they were soft. Offensive line, they were soft. Okay? They can get bullied and pushed around. I mean, do I need to tell y'all about Jamal Brown? Do we need to go ahead and talk about Jamal Brown getting absolutely slapped all over the place and Sean Payton calling him out in a press conference? Do I need to tell you about that? Okay, so when Mark Ingram came to the New Orleans Saints in 2011, the Saints were soft. Okay, if the Saints had the same type of aggression, like if Zach Strief was super aggressive like Ryan Ramczyk was, no disrespect to Zach Strief because he was really good at the right tackle. If we had some rough riders, if we had some roughnecks, if we had some dogs, like the Baltimore Ravens was, like the Dallas Cowboys was in the 90s, if we had some of those guys, and when Mark Ingram first came into the league, bruh, dude would have been certified like the first and the 15th with a check, straight up. Seattle Seahawks. Why, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You know why we let's just go ahead and talk about this. You know why we respect Pierre Thomas so much? We like Pierre Thomas so much, not because of the screen game. I said earlier, I feel like he was the best screen running back I ever seen. Okay, when you give Pierre Thomas the ball on the screen, he going yard. But Pierre Thomas was breaking tackles, okay? And he was breaking tackles in the backfield because the offensive line was getting slapped around. They was getting slapped around. Go back and look. Don't take my word for it. Like I said, look, I'm just a guy with no opinion. Go back and look at them games and watch how Jamal Brown was getting tossed all around the place. That's what he was doing. Before Teron Armstead got there, the Saints were some punks. On the offensive line, them boys were some straight up punks. I don't care what anybody says. Them boys was some punks. And they were a finesse team. They threw the ball all over the place. Y'all remember that game in Seattle, right? Do I need to remind y'all that? When Seattle went out there and took them boys' manhood on national television. Because they jammed those wide receivers and they made the Saints run the football, which they could not do. Go back and look. Go back and look. Thank you, Invictus. I see Invictus, my guy. Brought up Chris Ivory. You know why we like Chris Ivory so much? We like Chris Ivory so much because he can break tackles. Before Mark Ingram came a couple years ago, you know the longest run the Saints ever had was a 74-yard touchdown by Chris Ivory. And there was a huge gap through the years before Mark Ingram broke one on the San Francisco 49ers. Why was that? Don't tell me that he wouldn't have been something special if he was a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I fail to believe that because the New Orleans Saints were a finesse team that didn't give a damn about they didn't give a damn about running the football. All they cared about was throwing. That's a fact. That is a fact. They didn't care about none of that stuff. So when people are saying, like, talk about Mark Ingram towards the beginning of his career, why would he have success? Because the Saints were just so doggone pass dependent. So don't give me that stuff about, man, if Mark Ingram would have been, on another team, he wouldn't have been where he is today. Stop it. Stop it. We still kind of finesse to me. Yes. That is a good point right there. The Saints are a finesse team. And in some ways, they do get punked. Okay? But the narrative is slowly starting to change on the offense. Okay? I feel like they're a little bit more aggressive. Now, Traquan Smith is a little bit too soft for my liking. Michael Thomas, this guy's he is a dog. I feel like you put another Michael Thomas out there, and I feel like Emmanuel Sanders, I think he's a guy that can be a good counter receiver because he's no punk. I mean, you play out there in the AFC North all those years before he went to Denver. I mean, he was a Pittsburgh receiver for God's sakes. Before Antonio Brown got there, Emmanuel Sanders was the guy. So if you playing in the AFC North, you can't be no punk and survive in the NFL. Okay, so I think he'll answer. They are a little bit of a finesse team, but I think they're starting to change that narrative. And hopefully they will pretty soon. We don't talk about it much, but Mark Ingram's career took a major jump after we drafted Andrews P. Best pro in his run blocking. The fact we re-signed him better mean we run the ball. Invictus, that's a good point, man. Invictus, man, you own today, man. Goodness. Well, you always got some good points, man. Shouts out to Invictus, but that's another person. You know what I'm saying? That's another person that we have to show a little respect for. And that's Andrews Pete with the run blocking. Now, I ain't say pad blocking. He still got some work to do. But with the run blocking, he does really well. And the thing about it is Ryan Ramczyk is a really good run blocking offensive lineman. God don't get enough credit, okay? The way that the NFL just disrespects Ryan Ramczyk year after year, just unbelievable. But Andrews Pete, I mean, he went to Stanford. I think we got to remember that. Andrews Pete went to Stanford. Stanford was a run-first offense, okay? They were run first. They ran the football at Stanford. And he was a left tackle. And the Saints moved him from the outside to the inside when they drafted him, okay, because of the success of Teron Armstead and what they saw in him. So Andrews Pete, even though, he get beat, on pass blocking from time to time, he's a really good run blocker. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Saints signed him back. And that was a good move because y'all going to have to understand. Y'all going to have to understand something. And I know y'all probably seen it those first 5 games. If the New Orleans Saints are going to get back to being one of those top teams, those elite teams when Drew Brees retires, they're going to have to run a football. Because it's going to take some time for that quarterback to adjust to the offense, rather than Taysom Hill or somebody else. And what is a young quarterback's best friend? A good defense and a running game. When Teddy Bridgewater came in, when Drew Brees was hurt, what got better? The defense and the running game. Okay? I didn't hear people complaining about Andrews Pete when Teddy Bridgewater was playing, okay, when Latavius Murray was averaging 159 yards from scrimmage. I ain't see none of that on my timeline. It was only until the New Orleans Saints, and I'm not criticizing Drew Brees, but until Drew Brees came back and Sean Payton wanted to go back to playing arena football, was when I started hearing inbox, man, we need to get Pete up out of here, man. Pete. Let's get him out of here, man. I'm done with Pete. Over Pete. That's when we start hearing that. So that tells me right there that the Saints understand that they're going to have to run the football in order for them to generate any type of success with a young quarterback. So that's the reason why I feel like they brought Pete back. One game I will never forget, Saints versus 49 in 2002. Deuce McAllister ran an 80-yard touchdown run. I saw in the first section of the Superdome. Yeah, I remember that. Our offensive line didn't stop Chris Ivory from running over fools. They didn't stop him, They didn't stop anybody. I mean, just go back and watch those games, man. Those guys was getting into the backfield. Chris Ivory was just breaking tackles. Chris Ivory was one of the most underrated players. I don't want to call him underrated. I just feel like he just always was injured. That's the reason why the Saints didn't keep him. Do you see us drafting a running back in the draft, or who do you like in the draft? I don't see us drafting a running back in the draft, but there's one guy that I would make an exception for, and that's Cam Akers. Cam Akers, man, is a guy played out there at Florida State, good kid. I feel like he was dealt a bad hand. He thought Jimbo Fisher was going to be his head coach, but Jimbo Fisher ended up going to Texas A&M. And, Florida State had some down years. It was some embarrassing stuff right there. Pancake Astronaut, thank you very much for the $5. Says, thank TJ for the B-Day live stream. TJ, much love and stay safe. Who that? Pancake, thank you very much for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it. Um, yeah, man, but I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, running back Cam Akers. Cam Akers, I think that he would be a really good running back. Florida State sucked. I think that kind of helped him, and I think he's going to be a much better pro than he was in college. Gigatis, thank you very much for the $10 donation. Yeah, unfortunately, some fans have selective memories. Yeah, we all do, including myself. I'm not throwing nobody. I ain't throwing nobody under the bus. I throw myself under the bus too. If y'all under the bus, I'm under the bus too. In some cases, because you know sometimes I mean I let my emotions get the best of me. I ain't gonna say all the time, but I got times where I overreact. And I got to check myself. Like, I don't know if y'all remember. I remember saying, Teddy Bridgewater, I can't see him as a starter. But look at him. He's starting for the Carolina Panthers. So, I mean, I ate crow, and I don't mind doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, man, we gotta really evaluate things sometimes. We can't let our arguments be from play to play. We gotta allow those arguments to be over the course of time, or a body of work. That's what we gotta have. Okay. Go look at some of the plays to counter your argument. Don't just like let one play, one play where a corner get beat. Like, come through with a compilation. Come back with some plays. Come back with like, how was his positioning at that time? You know what I'm saying? Like, who was really supposed to be guarding that guy? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like we think it's one person when it's really not. Jonathan Taylor would be a great player for us, but we shouldn't pick him in the first. We have much bigger needs than running back. I agree. Jonathan Taylor is a really good running back out of Wisconsin. Going to be a really good pro, even though most of the time Wisconsin running backs don't transition well. Ryan Dane, Michael Bennett, Melvin Gordon has had some issues. Hopefully, Jonathan Taylor, rights that wrong. In the words of Michael Jordan, stop it, get some help. Who was better as a rookie, Ivory or Ingram? We all know the answer to that. I mean, it was Ivory. Ivory was better, but that wasn't Mark Ingram's lane at the time. Okay, that wasn't Mark Ingram's lane at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna pretend like Mark Ingram didn't run behind one of the best offensive lines in college, and you know what I'm saying, those lanes were like wide open. You know what I'm saying, like the freeway is right now. So, and it was a different type of running back, and let's and let's like not pretend that Chris Ivory was basically playing for his life. Okay, he was playing for his life. Mark Ingram, you getting drafted in the first round, think you got some room to grow. And Chris Ivory, who reminded me a lot of what's that dude? Marion Barber for the Dallas Cowboys. He was a guy who just kind of ran through folks. But at the same time, he was able to break those tackles. The Saints offensive line was horrible at that time. Man, defense stayed in the backfield more than more than the offensive line and the quarterback did. Show Murray respect, let him pound him more. Yeah, I agree. Ryan Ramczyk is the best right tackle in the NFL. He needs more respect. He will be the highest paid. He needs to be. And anybody that says that Ryan Ramczyk don't need to be the highest paid right tackle, I'm sorry, I love y'all, but please remove yourself from the chat. Okay? You can still watch the video, but please, if you don't think that Ryan Ramczyk deserves to be the highest paid right tackle in football, you have lost your ever loving mind. Annie Clark says you are speaking the truth. For real. Thank you very much, Annie. Thank y'all, man. Y'all speaking the truth, too. I see a lot of truth telling on this timeline. A lot of truth telling. If you think that Ryan Ramczyk, bro, I'm sorry. Anybody that's, look, Ryan Ramczyk needs to be treated with the same type of respect as Drew Brees right now in his career. Okay? Just like we talk about is blasphemous and we need to be running with our pitchforks as an unruly mob, that we need to be treating Ryan Ramczyk the same way. Ryan Ramczyk deserves all the praise in the world. I can make an argument that Ryan Ramczyk is the best player on the Saints team. I can make an argument that he is the best player on the Saints team. That is how I feel about Ryan Ramczyk. If you are criticizing Ryan Ramczyk, when this man contract is up and we like, man, we need to trade him. Bruh, I promise you, if we talk about trading Ryan Ramczyk, if we talking about cutting this man short, if we talk about not making this man the highest paid right tackle in football, I ain't got nothing for you. I will not respond to you. I love each and every one of you. I thank you for the support. But if you criticize Ryan Ramczyk when his contract up, I ain't answering you. I'm not. Because that guy deserves so much respect. Ryan Ramczyk has been in the league going on his fourth season. You know how many sacks this guy's given up in his entire career? 2. According to Pro Football Focus, he is ranked the number 2 right tackle in football. Before the season was over, before the season began, he was ranked number 1. Ryan Ramczyk is the man. Will develop into a great player. I was saying Pete looked better next to Unger because Unger was a monster. Eric McCoy, too. Eric McCoy is a monster, too. Anybody that is that young and comes in, man, y'all don't, like some of y'all don't know. The center job isn't just to snap the football. It's not. You know, the center job is to know where the coverage, you know what I'm saying, and the pressures is coming from, and to make the adjustments on the fly for that young guy to be in that position and to play as well as he did. Unbelievable. Eric McCoy is good too, and he's only going to get better. But anybody criticize Ryan Ramczyk, man, y'all please stop commenting. I've been out here nothing about Ryan Ramczyk's contract when it's up. If we can talk about people being the highest paid player in any position, he deserves his. He deserves his money. Trade running back AK for a first, third round and get quarterback and linebacker in the first round, and maybe trade all the rest of the picks, but 1/3 to get a running back in the second round and the third. Hold on. That's a lot going on here. Jose, trade Alvin Kamara for a first, and a third round, and get quarterback and linebacker in the first round. Okay. And maybe trade all the rest of picks but 1/3 and get a running back in the second round and the third round. Jose, my man, you know how hard it is to trade a running back for a first round pick, let alone a first and a third. Quarterback and linebacker, I'm with you with that. Either or, potato, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You need both of them. But you lost me. We're trading all the rest of the picks for a second and a third. The Saints don't have a second round pick. Okay? So if you're talking about trading that, you basically are saying that you only want to have 3 players in this draft. I don't think I agree with that. Then you have to account for what did you trade these picks for? Okay, so I'm pretty sure you're not going to be trading Alvin Kamara for a first and a third and trading away the rest of your draft picks, and it's not going to cost you something in the next year's draft. I can't roll with that, Jose. I can't do it, my friend. I can't do it, okay? Like the GM work, see you put your hat on, look like you really thought that out. But I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work, my friend. Ram TJ is a blessing, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Crazy how Ryan Ramczyk almost quit football before 2016. Yes, that would have been a loss. He improved every year. Could you imagine what Kai Robinson would have been if he had not been injured? Yeah, he would have been real good. That was unfortunate right there. I really like Jordan Love in the first, but if not him, I think it should be Patrick Queen for sure. His coverage ability and athleticism will make it easier for our DBs. Yeah, because you can have him like as a linebacker slash safety. I would put him at I would put him as a linebacker position as well. He can play multiple positions, kind of almost like what Kenny Vaccaro and Roman Harper were doing. McCoy is a dog, only going to get better. Yep, I agree with that. That young kid is good. Eric looked like a veteran, great leader on our line. Had a lot of penalties in the first half of the season, but he fixed it, and he only gave up one sack. I mean, he was young, man, and he was nervous. I mean, you go back to his interviews, he was talking about how nervous he was. He had big shoes to fill, man. Max Unger only gave up one penalty his entire time with the Saints. And honestly, the penalty happened in a divisional round of playoffs against the Eagles, and he didn't even do it. He got called for a penalty he didn't even do. So, to me, Max Unger never had a penalty in a Saints uniform. I would love Patrick Queen to be a Saint, but I think we will be lucky if we get him at 24. We will need to move up a few spots for him. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Looking at some of these mock drafts, the Saints might end up getting him. Hold me tripping. Hi, Annie Clark. Shouting hello from Ontario, California. Man, be careful out there in Ontario, Dwayne. Be careful out there, my brother. Dodge need to contact Ram check for the Ram Tough commercial would be a good fit. I think they would have to know who he is, and I think that's one of the reasons why he gets snubbed every year because a lot of people don't know who he is. Okay, but I guarantee you, if he played for the Cowboys, or if he played for the Eagles, or if he played for the Steelers, or if he played for any one of those teams that people love to talk about, he will be getting all the attention and all the endorsements. But he played for lowly New Orleans in a small media market where people don't respect, and they always trying to find ways to discredit the Saints somehow, some way. Saints bad news always gets to the top of the charts versus the good news. They never really want to mention them as being elite as a NFL team. But let the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Giants have a good season. They'll be singing their praises from the rooftops. Don't give me that stuff about, oh, it's about the media markets. It's about what the media does. Nah, man. If the media wanted to really push good teams, nobody would care. Look, I'm a historian. I love history. I love the history of news. People used to carry the news stories, positive news stories, no matter where a person is from. You can hear about news what was going on Capitol Hill, and then they'll go back down and tell you what was going on in Greenwood, Mississippi. They'll tell you what was going on in Cheyenne, Wyoming. They didn't care, okay? The media pushes their agenda. It's propaganda. That's all it is. They push who they want to push, and they want to push those people because they feel like they are worth their time, okay? Because they could easily talk about how good the Saints are. They can easily talk about how great Drew Brees is, but they always seem to discredit him and always discredit the team, even though the Saints were one of the best teams, in a decade. And they've been the best team in football, in my opinion, even though they haven't won any Super Bowls in the last 3 to 4 years. They've been probably top 3. So the media does that. That's propaganda. Dude, it's almost impossible to get a first round out of a running back. Yeah, man. We gotta go back to like the 80s, late 80s, Herschel Walker or something like that. You gotta go back to those days. Bring back Delvin Bro and cut PJ Williams. McCoy gave J.J. Watt fits all game with 0 sacks. Yeah, that was a badger on badger right there. Yeah, Ramcheck definitely got the best of that. I work at a clinic and I am working the COVID-19 drive-through. All of you take care and be safe, man. Be careful out there. Man, be careful out there. Definitely doing that. Yeah, that truly upsets me how the media does the Saints. It's frustrating. Yeah, man, I can't stand it. That's why, honestly, man, I don't even pay attention to the media no more. And to be honest with you, now that I don't know, I don't like to consider myself media, but I guess working at a radio station, I am a part of the media to a certain extent. I can't stand them. And the more that I read, the more knowledgeable that I get. And, the fact that I studied communications at Jackson State, I know why people do things. I know why they say things. I know why people post certain topics in newspapers and stuff like that to generate buzz, and it just ticked me off. And like you can tell when a person is like being genuine versus when they just trying to be a caricature of themselves, like Stephen A. Smith, who say all these different things. And I don't know, man. These guys are jokes, straight up jokes. That Delvin Bro comment made me fall out my chair. What Delvin Bro comment? I didn't even pay attention to it. Thank you for what you're doing out there. Yeah, Juan, thank you so much, my brother. The Saints have the best record in the past 3 years, 37-11. That's right. But what you think the NFL talking about it? I'll tell you how petty these boys is. Now the Saints, y'all knew he went 13-3, right? The Saints lost to the San Francisco 49ers on a game-winning field goal, going back and forth with a team that was dominating for weeks. They lost by 2 points, and the media made it seem as if it was just the worst thing ever, like they lost by 20 or something like that. But the week before, when the San Francisco 49ers played the Baltimore Ravens, and that game was nip and tuck. Oh, Lamar Jackson is great. Oh, the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, we're going to see these guys again. But the Saints lose by 2. It took them knocking out who I feel like was the best player on the field that day in Jared Cook. And they didn't give these guys no respect. They put the Saints at the bottom of the line. Oh, they ain't going nowhere. The media is full of crap, okay? They're full of crap. Straight up. They did not want to make the Saints or dub the Saints one of the best teams in the league. They wanted to put the Packers before the Saints, who I felt like, in my opinion, if the Saints would have beat the Minnesota Vikings in the Superdome, the Green Bay Packers would have lost in Lambeau to the Saints. There's not a doubt in my mind. Green Bay was the most smoke and mirrors team that they had in the NFL last season. The weakest schedule that you can find. The weakest. And they had a little bit of a better defense because they got the Smith brothers from, one of the guys from Baltimore. They put them before the Saints because of what that team represents as far as, legacy in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers, I don't care if they did go to the NFC Championship game. They were not a better team than the New Orleans Saints last season. The media did not want to give the Saints their respect. And for that, the media, excuse my friends, can kiss my ass when it comes to the Saints because they are a much better team than they gave them credit for. And I know they lost in a wild card round, but to me, if the Saints would have got past Minnesota, Green Bay would have lost to the Saints. That's my opinion. I give Stephen A. Smith credit. After we won a wild card game versus the Panthers, he predicted we would win the Super Bowl. Him and Max also predicted us to win the Super Bowl in 2018. I don't care. And that's one thing that there's a magic behind what they do, Invictus. And if you allow me a few minutes, let me explain. What the media does, they put an article out there, or they'll throw, let's just say, for example, they'll throw a little rock into the water for a little bit, or they'll throw a dart, see if it stick to the wall or to the chart, right? But they'll also give themselves enough wiggle room in order for them to get out of situations. they will say that they're not. They'll say that they fully committed to a team, and then slowly, as they start to get a little bit, I guess, like skeptical of the team, they start to nitpick at that team. So by the time the playoffs come, oh, I've been off them. If you notice, if you watch me in week 6, I said that they defense struggled. Or if you watch me in week 8, I said they cornerbacks couldn't cover. I knew that they weren't going to do it. That's what they do, man. Okay, that's how they try to manipulate things. Yeah, they'll say in 2018 because what they would do is they'll look at the Saints record and what the Saints were last season. So they don't have anything to go off of. They can't go off this season versus last season because this season just started. The Saints were 13-3. So of course they'll probably pick them. But man, it's psychology. Man, it's psychology behind it. Here in California, the Lambs are gods, but them losing in the Super Bowl was everything for me. And when we played the Lambs here in the LA Coliseum, we black and gold, the entire venue media hit it. Yeah, man. The Rams look like they about to go to the back of the line. They tried to go for broke early because they were trying to generate interest in Los Angeles. And now they got to pay all those players. And now they got to get rid of players because they can't pay them all. Got a bunch of mercenaries on their team in order for them to try to generate some buzz. And it didn't work out. I don't know, man. I know this whole entire subject was supposed to be about Alvin Kamara, but of course, you know, we talk about all type of things here, especially in the comments. If Jordan Love slips into the 20s, should the Saints jump the Patriots to draft him? Yep, they should. Is he worth what we'll have to give up? Yeah, I think so. And you know, I think that he'll be a good quarterback in a right situation. He can't go to just any team. You know, he can't just go to any team and you know, just be that guy. He has to go to a team that can actually you know, draw up offense that can kind of, you know, cater to his strengths. If he goes to just some team, he might be a flop. But I think the Saints, in the way they'll use him, I think he'll be good. What are your thoughts on the Pelicans' future? I don't know why we are reportedly not going to offer, let me see, who? BI, the max. I would offer him the max before I have to match a bunch of offers. Oh, you're talking about Brandon Ingram. I'm sorry. BI. Brandon Ingram. I don't know, man. You know, basketball is a little fickle. Basketball a little fickle. I just think that, you know, them getting traded from the Lakers to the Pelicans, let's just be honest. LA versus New Orleans. I mean, no disrespect to New Orleans. That's my hometown, but people rather play in Los Angeles than play in New Orleans. And I really feel like these guys like want to go to those big media markets, so we might end up losing him, man. But he's a good player. He reminds me of a young Kevin Durant, especially like the way he built and stuff like that. But I think he's a really good player. But guys want to be the guy, and Brandon Ingram is definitely not the guy. You know, we all know that Zion Williamson is the guy, and he, you know, he's the guy, and he is the face of the almost the face of the NBA right now. He's the new blood. God bless, bro. Just found your channel. Who that, baby? Man, thank you, man. 44th legendary. Thank you very much for the $5 donation. Man, don't let it be your last time, man. Excuse me. Don't let it be your last time checking out the videos either. Thank you, man. You know, I do this almost every day. I don't do it live, but you know, I put up videos and stuff like that, and just thank you, man. I appreciate you so much. B.I. the best player on the Pelicans. I agree with that. I like how Lonzo is coming into his own too. It seems like he's finding his way. Thank you for your work as a nurse. You're at the front lines, and we appreciate all your work. I work at a clinic in Minnesota, and I'm outside enjoying the snow. Yeah, Wine. Thank you very much. You know, man, all the first responders out there. You know, I appreciate. Thank y'all so much. And also, man, while I'm thinking about this, I want to give a special shout out and dedicate this live edition to a young kid. His name is Donovan. I seen his father, Matthew Stanek. He was talking about his son who's battling leukemia right now. And, they got some very unfortunate news in regards to little Donovan. And man, we just praying for his recovery, man. A card carrying member of the Who Dat Nation. The father didn't ask for anything except for the Who Dat Nation to show love. The guy, once again, name is Matthew Stanek. If you follow the New Orleans Saints on Facebook, you probably seen the post. And I posted on the State of the Saints podcast too. But if you just so happen to know Matthew Stanek, you can get in touch with him. Let him know, man. I would like to get his information. I tried to message him. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I guess, he has like his privacy on, which I understand. But I'd like to send little Donovan something, saying some Saints, some Saints stuff, State of the Saints podcast t-shirt or something like that. This young kid, man, he's a fighter, we're going to get through this. And we're not just Who Dat Nation, when it comes to Saints games, man. We're drawn together by the love of the Saints, man. But we stay together and we fight together, man. So shouts out to Donovan. I know he's going to make a speedy recovery. Matthew, I'm praying for you and your family, and I hope everything works out. I really hope everything works out. So shouts out to Donovan. I'll try to get his info. I try to get his info and try to see, what we can do. But I'm definitely, I definitely want to get in touch with him. I want to send him some stuff. We're in this together, man. We're in this together. Yes, I only can imagine, as a father, what he's going through right now. But I know Donovan gonna make it through. Love is not all of that, people. We don't know that though. We don't know that, and you can't say that, wrong. Man, Patrick Mahomes was coming out of college, and people thought like, man, he went to Texas Tech, man. Texas Tech ain't nothing. Like, who played for Texas Tech? Who was their quarterback? Now look at him. Guy, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So we can sit up here and have our pride and stick out our chests and be like, yeah, man, he ain't all that. I don't know why we drafting him. And this dude go out here and be throwing touchdowns all over the place and winning multiple Super Bowls. Then we been somewhere looking like boo-boo the fool. Because we could have had the guy. I ain't too proud. I am not too proud. If the guy is the truth, he the truth, okay? If he's as advertised, he's as advertised. I'm not trying to find, chinks in the armor or whatever. I'm not trying to find ways to discredit guys. No disrespect to you, Jerome. I don't know if you're doing that or not, but I feel like we got to give people the benefit of the doubt. If they fall flat on their face, then they fall flat on their face, okay? But don't discredit the guy because he went to a small school. Don't say that he not all that because he went there to a small school. He didn't go up against big time schools. We don't know what these guys will be. We didn't know that Carson Wentz, who came out of North Dakota State, which technically they're a powerhouse, I guess, to Division II, but nobody thought that he would be as good as he is. So we can't say that. I wouldn't mind getting another wide receiver. I feel like we can use a slot receiver. I think we're going to get one, but it's going to be later in the draft. I'm not completely sold on Taysom. I'm just lost still. I'm not sold on Taysom either. I'm not sold on him either. But like I said, like many other things, I give him the opportunity to change my mind. But as of right now, no, sir. No, sir. I'm not ready to crown him just the future of the Saints. USC Carson Palmer was. What was Carson Palmer? What was Carson Palmer? What do you mean by USC Carson Palmer, Jerry? Browns revealed their new uniforms tomorrow. Looks like it will be the Jim Brown era jerseys. Personally, my second team is the Browns since they have OBJ, Jarvis, Greedy. So I'm excited. Yeah, man, I understand like the LSU allegiance to that. But the Browns changed their uniforms more than Oregon. God dog. Like, they changed their uniforms last year, and they changed their uniforms the year before last. I'm like, how many times y'all gonna change y'all uniforms? They got so many variations of the Cleveland Browns uniforms. It's ridiculous, man. Like, how many times y'all gonna change y'all uniforms? What y'all think generating uniform changes gonna generate some success? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, man. Save your money. I tell you what the problem is. It's Jimmy Haslam, the owner of them. Guy has absolutely no patience. He had absolutely no patience. He'll hire a coach in 1 year and fire him the next. I'm like, give this guy opportunity to turn around. That guy has absolutely no patience, man. You know, I don't know. Browns should focus on changing their coaching scheme, not their uniforms. I agree. Carson Palmer played quarterback at USC in college. Did I say Carson Palmer? I meant Carson Wentz. If I say Carson Palmer, I meant Carson Wentz. I apologize. I meant Carson Wentz. I'm sorry. Yeah, Carson Palmer played at USC. Yeah, I knew that. I probably misspoke, Jerry, but I meant Carson Wentz. Let's see. So many teams are changing their uniforms right now. The coach just they changed theirs yesterday. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh my God, yes, the ownership is a big issue. Yeah, they Cleveland ownership is a dumpster fire. The last time they changed their jersey was 2014. All they did last year was make their color rush their home uniform. Yeah, I mean, but then they had that like they had the Browns name going down the leg of it, right? I mean, they did like a big old premiere of it, Invictus. They made like a big premiere. Like, you know what I'm saying, put like all the bells and whistles on it. I remember that. Remind me of the new Falcons uniforms. Hot garbage. Man, I'm over the Falcons, man. You know, anytime, like I said, I'm not, you know, I said I wasn't going to mention them because anytime that I mention that team, their fans or lack thereof like to come on the State of the Saints podcast page because that's the only page that they can find somebody actually talking about that trash, pathetic excuse of a team. And I cannot wait for about 3 to 4 years when the Saints finally surpass them in the overall record so I don't have to hear that garbage no more. That's the only thing they can hold on to. That is the only thing that team, and that's what I'm going to keep, that's what I'm going to refer to them as from now on. That team, okay? That is the only thing that team's fan base can hold on to because it definitely ain't championships. And to be quite honest with you, it's laughable. If we want to compare like love for a team, it's laughable. Saints fans trump that team's fan base any day. They're only fans, and you only see them when their team is winning. You still see people saying, "I'm still saying who that in the Saints lost." With that team, you barely even see their fans. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. I do a podcast with two of my other friends, DJ and Mike Ricks. It's called the NFC South versus the NFL. Mike is a Panthers fan. DJ is a Bucks fan. Of course, I'm a Saints fan. We have yet to find a fan of that team. And we've been looking high and low. We cannot find a fan of that team to come on the show and be a representative for that team. So until that happens, I am going to say that team has fair weather fans. TJ, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about our interest in Mason Fine from North Texas. Do you think it's only because he trains with Breeze? Derek, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this to you, and I feel like I really want to give your answer some detail. So I did a video yesterday. I want you to check it out. I talked about this topic that you just bringing up. So after this video, or you can click off the video if you want to. I think that video like 5 minutes. You can go and I did a video on that, man. So check it out. Check it out and let me know what you think. I wish they released the NFL schedule this week. Yeah, me too. But we already know who we're gonna play and what's gonna be the home and away games. You should see the Coast new uniform. That is how you make new uniforms. I'm gonna have to check it out, Invictus. I'll check it out once this is over. If it wasn't for the pandemic, it would be this week. Yeah, yeah. The pandemic sucks. This is random, but the Saints would really look cool with black helmets. Yeah, but I mean, Saints are a little bit of a traditionalist type team. Any change is going to really stir the pot. I wish sometimes. I love the state of Louisiana. I love the Gulf Coast region, but man, we just so stuck in our ways, man. Like Jesus, we so stuck in our ways. Like we don't like any type of change. Like change is good. Sometimes change can be good. I just feel like there's always that old people that still have that old man mentality that lives in that house and he don't want the ball on his front yard and while y'all walking across his lawn type mentality, man. Like change is good sometimes. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I heard people like complaining when the Saints went to like white pants. Why they need white pants for what? Like, come on. Yeah, man, that team. That is what I am going to refer to that team as that team. So anytime y'all hear me say that team, I'm talking about that team. Man, I live in that town. They thinking the Texans are going to trade Watson for Ryan and a one. Yeah, keep believing it. Keep believing it. Don't nobody want no Matt Ryan. Okay? That team don't even want Matt Ryan, to be honest with you. Is it me or is his screen buffering? Could be just me. Oh, sorry, Invictus. If it is, man, I don't know. I don't know if it's buffering or not. I count on y'all to tell me that stuff. I don't know. I just be talking. And I see like a comment or something like that come across, but if it's buffering, I apologize. The pandemic sucks. Yeah, man, it sucks. It's unfortunate, man. A couple friends of mine, shouts out to him. Isaiah Stewart, a good friend of mine, lives in New Orleans. He was diagnosed with COVID-19, but thank God, man, he made it home yesterday. He's made a full recovery. So, man, it's good to hear about some of the regular people that are out here that are surviving this thing. Instead of, no disrespect to Carl Anthony Towns, may his mother rest in peace. But, there are some people that are not Carl Anthony Towns' parents that are beating this thing, that are fighting for their lives, that are losing their lives. And I just don't like the way that the media says 38-year-old man gets COVID-19. Okay. And, they don't say that the 38-year-old man, made it through or anything like that. It has to be like somebody with some level of prestige or cachet that they're giving these guys the attention to. Look, just because you don't dunk a football or catch a football or hit a baseball, don't mean you're not a hero. And these people that's in these hospitals that's battling and fighting for their lives and getting up out that thing, they are the real heroes. Okay, so I feel like they need to be covered and respected and not just covering them when they die. Okay? These people are fighting for their lives, they survivors. And don't just kill these people off and talk about the people that died, what I'm saying, just because they dead so it feeds your agenda. Talk about these winners too. Talk about these people out here who have to be away from their families and their families can't even be in the hospital rooms with them because they're afraid that the family might, contract it as well. Let's talk about how these people have to battle these situations alone by themselves. And just because a person don't have over 1 million followers on Instagram or 1 million followers on Twitter, people don't care about their stories because we do. Okay? I care about their stories. So cover these folks. I know I went on once again a little rant, but that upsets me. That upsets me. These people are really fighting for their lives. These people are really doing everything that they can, and they're doing this alone. Imagine being in a hospital room alone with you and your thoughts. And I've been there. I've been there. The last time I was sick in October, I had pneumonia. And, they found out, there was a possibility that I can possibly lose my life. You know, I had to deal with that. I had to be in the hospital alone for a while. I had to. I had to be in a hospital alone by myself because, as y'all know, my son Paxton at that time, he probably was like a couple months old, 4 or 5 months old, and we didn't want to have him in the hospital being sick, and my girl had to care for him. So all you can do is basically look up, you know what I'm saying, and ask God if you're a religious person, and ask God to help you. You know what I'm saying, to help you get through it. And that was a scary time, man, because I'm telling y'all, I did not know if I was going to live or die. They thought that I had cancer. They thought I had a rare form of cancer, and you know what I'm saying, that only a few people have. And I know this is a sports podcast, but we're talking about COVID-19. When you're in a hospital by yourself and the only person that is there with you is the Almighty God, if you're into that or whoever you're into, and your thoughts start to wander, the anxiety come in, the depression comes in, and these people are surviving. So cover these people, respect these people, and understand that these people out here fighting for their lives too. And just because their names, you know what I'm saying, they aren't related to famous people, just because they're not famous people, don't mean that they don't need to get that attention. So, I encourage everybody, man. Like, I encourage everybody, if you know somebody that had COVID-19, that went to the hospital, got through it, man, let's lift these people up. Let's show these people the respect they deserve, because for some apparent reason, it seems like the media are not doing that unless these people perish. So that's some tough stuff. If you ever been in a hospital by yourself, you know what I'm talking about. Indeed, TJ, check the SGN channel on YouTube. Yeah, man, you gotta have nothing. I mean, honestly, man, it is not covering it, because I read this book, and man, I wish I can tell y'all next time I do a podcast, and if you're like into this stuff, and if you think about doing a podcast, I encourage you to check out this book. I'll have the name of it. But they talk about how the media, you know, basically creates different stories because, out of fear. Like, they want to make people afraid. Like, they want to build on people's fear. Like, whatever you're afraid of, the worst case scenario, they try to amplify that because they want you to gravitate to them for the answers, even though in reality they don't have any. That's what they do. So they want to keep you afraid. They want to, tell you about all of the people dying, but they don't want to tell you about some of those other stories. And if they do, they want to tell you about that one story because of the last 25 minutes of a 30-minute news cast. They were telling you nothing but bad news. Let's see. I want to give a shout out to all of the nurses and doctors dealing with this virus. I want to give special thanks to my wife, who graduated from Southern University as a nurse practitioner. Shouts out to Herman. Yeah, man, Herman. Shouts out to your wife. Shouts out to them Southern Jaguars. Man, shouts out to my girl, man. I know she don't look at these videos because she's not into sports like that. But I love my girl, man. She's a nurse practitioner, man. Graduate of Tuskegee University and Troy University. And she is one of the most knowledgeable people that I know, and one of the most heroic people that I know. And she goes to work every day, man, and she goes out there and risk it, in order to put people and get them back to health. So shouts out to her, man. And shouts out to all the nurse practitioners out there and all of the doctors. Because what y'all don't see is, man, these people working around the clock, sleeping in the hospital, being away from their families. I know this is a sports show, folks, but we're living in a real world. And I know that this show is supposed to be an escape from that, but it's hard not to talk about this. It's hard not to talk about this. I guess we can kind of intertwine sports with that because, like I said, man, these sports, like I turn on ESPN, such and such, had contracted COVID-19. Even Sean Payton, no disrespect to Sean Payton. I'm glad that he got through it. But these niggas, Negroes rich. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, excuse my friend. These Negroes rich. These people rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people get the finest care. These people get the finest care. They get all the attention. And honestly, folks, how is it that these people get to the front of the line? They get tested first. This was before people was actually getting tested and all these requirements. I'm like, God dog, I thought that you had to be sick in order for you to, even be considered to get that. Some of these folk didn't even know if they had it or not. So you're basically taking these packets and taking these tests from people who are actually sick to give it to a person just because they're rich. And sorry for dropping the N-bomb, but I just had to call for what it is. These Negroes, these people are rich. You know what I'm saying? They rich. So I'm sorry, man, but I feel I won't say I want these people to perish. I don't. But for a person that's struggling, that probably don't have health insurance, that probably have to pay out of the pocket to go to the hospital, who probably going to have to put this on their credit report for the rest of their lives because they're not going to be able to pay the bill. I feel a tad bit more sorry for that person versus a person that can drop $100 out their pocket and not miss it. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be anything else than real. I'm not saying I don't feel sorry for these folks when they do get it. But I feel a tad bit more sympathy for a person that I know can't pay the bill and get pushed to the back of the line because of the caste system, because of their economic status. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for dropping the M-bomb. But when we talk about situations like this, I become unfiltered. You know what I'm saying? I become unfiltered. Straight up, because this is a very touchy subject to me because I don't know, man. It's not a people. It's not about people anymore. It's about what you can do for me. So, and it shouldn't be about that. It should be about the person that needs help. It should definitely be about people with help that need help, but it also should be about the ones that survived this pandemic. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm glad Sean Payton got through the COVID-19 situation, but I don't know. Some people aren't that lucky. Yeah, man, I slipped up like Booker T, man. Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you. Nurses can't speak about what's going in the hospitals in fear of losing their jobs. Yeah, I know. My girl told me that last night. Of course, y'all know that I work for 90.9 FM. And, I've been doing interviews. I've been trying to conduct interviews with people. I've been trying to do interviews with people, and it's hard to find people that'll be willing to talk about it. And she said it. She's like, I can't really talk too much about it. She's like, I can't go like on record and talk about that. Neither can anybody that I work with. So if they can't do it, I'm pretty sure they're telling everybody else that. Let's see. Yeah, man, you never thought I'd drop an N-bomb, man. Yeah, me neither. I don't even really use that word like that. I don't know. I just got upset. So I apologize. Probably the first and the last time you ever gonna hear me use that, but it just, it's just I don't know. When I think about humanity and issues that going on in the world at large, and I see that there's unfairness going on, it just really bothers me. So, yeah, so that's the first and probably gonna be the last. What's up? Just join. Yeah, man. We talked about a lot of things. Basic. We talked about Alvin Kamara. We talked about draft picks. We talked about COVID-19. Talk about it all. So yeah, man. But the issue with Alvin Kamara, I feel like Alvin Kamara probably gonna get a good contract. He's probably gonna get a good contract, man. Probably ain't gonna be $16 million or anything like that. But I do feel like he gonna get paid a good amount of money, which he deserves, man. I think he deserves that. But from what I've seen on the field, as far as production is concerned, like it's night and day in comparison to what Christian McCaffrey has been doing over the past few years, and what Christian McCaffrey is to the Carolina Panthers. Alvin Kamara is not, and I'm not saying that Alvin Kamara can't be that. So yeah, I think that Alvin Kamara can be that if the Saints want him to be, but that's just not what he is right now. It's just not what he is. I think the whole Saints organization has been prepared to pay him for a while. Yeah, I don't know how Mickey Lewis do it with the checkbook, man. I don't know. I don't know how he be doing. Well, I know how now. I know how he does it now. But it's amazing how he finessed that checkbook like that. He been manipulating those numbers, man. I'm like, God, dog, man. When y'all just in cap, what they say, cap purgatory a couple years ago. Let's see, Mickey Money. Yep, Money Mick. Yeah, man, Mick. I don't understand how Mick do it. I don't understand how he do it, but he does a good job, man. He does a good job with the checkbook. But I think that the Saints probably gonna end up getting. I think they probably gonna end up getting a wide receiver late in the draft for somebody that mentioned that. My friend and high school associate in NOLA just got released 2 days ago. She was in quarantine at the hospital for 2 weeks. She counted while she was awake countless bodies leaving every day. Yeah, my brother told me last night, man. He was talking about, man, how many people, end up dying in Louisiana, man. I'm like, God dog. God dog, man. Yeah, all them people. I'm like, I don't know, man. That stuff, man. I pay attention to it, and like I said, I try to stay away from it because, you know, y'all hear stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so passionate. And, I'm so passionate about what I do. Like that's one thing that I do, folks. I would never be behind a video, be in front of a video or be behind a microphone and give you all something without passion. If I'm not passionate about like doing a video on a certain day, I don't do it. I don't, because I don't want to give y'all a disservice. So I try to stay away from situations like that, okay? Because I don't like the way that they treat people, and it bothers me. And it might come out in ways like like what I was talking about earlier. So I don't like it, not at all. It's really a sad world we live in. We just gotta have faith and trust in God. Yeah, man, we gotta trust in God or whatever higher power you believe in. Hopefully you have like some level of faith. At the end of the day, Mickey Loomis has all the trust. He has done a great job, and I am glad we have him doing these trades and deals. Yeah, he does, man. I don't know how he does it, but he does. I Our health shouldn't be seen as a business. Well, it is, and it always has been. You know, always has been. I prefer Murray over Queen. His instincts are second to none, and he's a dog like Demario. Okay, I agree with that. Kenneth Murray can be beneficial to the Saints. And I like his demeanor, man. I seen an interview with him not too long ago. Good kid. Hats off to Jeff Ireland. Yeah, Jeff Ireland gonna be somebody GM very soon. I'm a Christian. Yeah, I mean I am too, man. But I understand like some people don't believe in God. That's just reality. Some people are atheists. Some people, are Buddhist. Some people, you know, don't believe in what we believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like they believe in a higher power. You know what I'm saying? Like so. I want to make sure that I accommodate everybody's religious preference. You know. as dynamic as Kamara is, you have to pay the guy. He brings so much to the table. When he's healthy, he shows you. That his first 2 years, even his down year, was okay. It just wasn't what we expected of him. Yeah, that's the thing because he set the ceiling so high, Kentrell. That's the one thing too we have to pay attention to. He set the bar so high, man. Like, and anything less than that, then we like, what's going on with him? There are times when atheists become believers. No disrespect to atheists. Yeah. Well, like I said, I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. That's just my personal beliefs. I believe, in God. TJ, how do you feel about the XFL's cornerback Nichols? Keen Arthur, I wish I had a better answer for you, man. As far as like what I think about this guy, I have to get back to you on that. I have to read a little bit on him and do some research. I want to make sure that I give you a fair answer, man. If I was to answer that right now, I'd just be pulling the answer out my behind right now. So I don't want to do that to you, but I guarantee you, man, you ask me that question again, I have an answer for you. Yeah, Anthony Fauci worked with Chinese. Obama predicted in 2014 the virus will come 5 to 10 years from now. Uh, how he know that he funded 3 million of Wuhan to help with virus. I don't want to get political, man. I don't want to get political on the show. I won't go that far. I think we talk about this. I'm talking about this pandemic from a human standpoint. I don't too much care about a political agenda. Whoever you vote for, is who you vote for. This show isn't about Democrat or Republican, Catholic, Judaism or anything like that. Like, this is about, the New Orleans Saints, but this right here is an exception because it's something that we all, as people, are going through collectively together. Political involvement, I try to stay away from, man, because I think we all understand and we all know now that politics kind of draws us away from each other. It divides us, okay? Because there's no area of gray when it comes to politics, especially these days. Okay, it's rather you're hot or you're cold, you're black or you're white. Not even talking about skin color, but I'm just saying like it's nothing in between. So I try to stay away from that. AK deserves to get paid, but what's that? McCaffrey's contract is insane. Loomis has always come through for us, but this time Mickey not that long and Mickey's magic not that strong. I don't know, man. It might be. I'm sure you're taking care of the fam, TJ. Yeah, man. I got to, man. I got to. I don't know, man. I'm at to see Derek. I mean, I don't want to just write it off and say that, oh man, he ain't gonna be able to handle it. I didn't think Andrews Pete was gonna be back. I didn't think, I did think Janoris Jenkins was gonna be back. But they got it done, man. When the Saints have to get something done, I think we all can agree they get it done. Also in the draft, I tried to trade back in the first to gain more pick capital. So you can probably still draft your linebacker of choice late in the first and have the picks to move in the second and for, Ayuk, Brandon Ayuk. Okay. Might be a little tough because after the first round, you only have a third round pick. So you'll probably have to give up something very important, like a first round pick next year or something. Cool, man. I really think we can find a way to draft Love and Murray. That would be amazing. If they do, yeah, it would be. I'd be interested to see that though. AK deserves to get paid. I already read that one. I'm sure you're taking care of the fam. I read that too. TJ, I don't know what you think, but I say let AK go injury or not. He to me has been showing how butthurt he was losing Mark. So is he really still dedicated to the fam or collecting a check? Verlin, bro. Nah, man. I think he was really hurt. I really think he was hurt, man. Not butt hurt, but hurt. I really think he was hurt. Going back Going back and looking at those games, I really think he was hurt. I don't think it had absolutely nothing to do with Mark Ingram. And honestly, if Alvin Kamara allowed Mark Ingram being traded to mess with his production on the field, then he is a moron. Facts. Because Mark Ingram has what, 4 or 5 kids? He has a wife, he has a mother, a father, a family to take care of. So if you allow a guy who goes and gets a contract to make more money than what you have made in the NFL over the next 2 to 3 years, if you allow that guy to get out the door to mess with your production and your money, you, sir, are a moron. So I don't think it had absolutely nothing to do with that, because I don't think Alvin Kamara is a moron. So I just think that he really was hurt. Looking at those games and going back and doing research and looking at some of the decisions that he made in year 1 and 2 versus year 3, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I don't want to believe that Alvin Kamara is a moron. I know I asked this a few times, but wanted your opinion on if we could get Love and Murray somehow. I don't think you can get both of them, but I could be wrong. I mean, I've seen the Saints be aggressive in the draft. It's possible, but it all depends. It all depends on what you get. But I don't know. That might be a stretch. Keep Eli Apple away from the dome. I don't know, man. He stay on the street long enough, they might end up bringing him back. How do you think Malcolm and Janoris Jenkins will be in the next 3 years? Oh, but I think the Saints probably just have Malcolm mostly out there because of his leadership and his decision making, and Janoris still has something left in the tank. This is the year that the Saints will get the ring. I hope so. Young Pharaoh, you want answers on the virus, go to his YouTube channel. I'm sure he does more research than you will. Let's see. Man, have y'all ever had a knee injury or a severe ankle sprain? Trust me, AK was not faking. I've had a severe hairline fracture in my ankle, and it's nothing to play with. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I messed my ankle up so many times going over the middle, catching passes. My goodness. Going up high, trying to catch the ball at the highest point, coming down on your ankle with all your weight. That is not fun. Somebody rolling over your ankle, that is not fun. Verlin, he already explained that he isn't hurt from Mark Ingram going because it's part of the game. He explained that in 2018, Ingram was the senior and he was the sophomore taking over. I've broken my ankle twice. Yeah, man, that's nothing to play with though, man. And then you have to go out there and play physical sports. That's tough. We don't give Eli Apple that excuse. He was clearly hurt. Drew Brees was out there with a hand that took 3 months to heal. Sorry, TJ, but I don't want to hear that about Alvin. Okay. All right. So let me get this straight, Jerry. Let me get this straight. You saying you don't want to hear about a running back who has a knee and an ankle injury. Basically, he makes his bread and his butter off his knees and his ankle, changing positions, wiggling, going in between tackles, making people miss, versus Eli Apple, who probably had a knee injury, and I'm not trying to discredit that, but he doesn't nearly have to do as much as a running back has to do at the cornerback position. And we don't even know the severity of Eli Apple injury versus Alvin Kamara's injury. We don't know that. So we don't know what a knee injury is, bruh. A person can say, me and you, let's just use me and you for example, Jerry. We both have knee injuries, right? My knee is me and you were playing and we butted knees. And I have like some soreness around my knee or whatever like that, right? Your knee injury is almost like you almost separated your kneecap. Now, if we're comparing knee injuries, and on a report, it says Jerry knee, TJ knee. If we both like out there on the field, what fans are going to say? Man, such and such have a knee injury and such and such have a knee injury too. Why he playing better than him? Because we have different knee injuries. We have different knee injuries. So maybe Alvin Kamara's knee injury was different from Eli Apple's. We don't know. The Saints don't disclose those type of information to the public. Sean Payton does not like talking about injuries. He doesn't go into depth or detail about those injuries. So who are we to say who can play when and how they can play or how should they play? How can we? That is not for us to do. We can't say, oh, it ain't no excuse. Like, are you in this guy's shoes? Are you in this guy's shoes? We don't know the severity of this man's knee. We don't know the severity of this man's ankle. Okay? We just know that something is going on in those areas. We don't know if it's ligaments. We don't know if it's bones. We don't know if it's bruises. We don't know what it is. So my problem is we can't do that as fans. We can't compare one person's injury from another because we don't know the severity of that person's injury. We don't. We never do. We never as Saints fans know the severity of a person's injury. Did any of us know that Michael Thomas broke his hand? You know what I'm saying? In that game against the Tennessee Titans? No, we didn't. We didn't know that, did we? We didn't see in week 17 he barely was on the field. But we were asking a question, though. What Michael Thomas was at, he didn't really even do nothing. They were throwing the ball to Traquan Smith all day. We didn't find out until the end of the season that this man's hand was broke. So we can't do that, man. We can't. I'm not going to compare a person's injury to another person's injury because we don't know. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. That is not fair. That's not fair to Alvin Kamara. That's not fair to Drew Brees. Okay? When we start comparing other people to that, you know what I'm saying? What's going to happen in a couple of years? Like if a quarterback that we have for the Saints, he has a thumb injury. Man, well, Drew Brees only missed 5 games. Why he missed 7 and 8? Nah, bro, we can't do that, man. We can't do that. Let's give this man a benefit of the doubt. That's speculation, TJ, but if you are going to talk about Apple play and dog the man, but we don't know, but we need to be fair. Jerry, go back and watch what I've done in the past. Go back and watch what I've done, my friend. Go back and watch what I've done. Go back and watch what I've done and how I talk about, and I've said this on several occasions. I said that for the exception of that Will Fuller deep pass in week 1 against the Houston Texans, Eli Apple played pretty good until that Chicago Bears game. That is what I said. You can go back and look at the footage. You can go back and look at any videos. Me talking about Eli Apple. There are 2 things that I talk about with Eli Apple. I talk about how his mom is too involved in his life. And I talk about how he played until that Chicago Bears game when he fell down on the ground when nobody touched him. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. As far as Michael Thomas' hand being broke, you're better than us, my friend, because I didn't know until the end of the season when on Twitter, when the Minnesota Vikings were playing against the San Francisco 49ers, when Michael Thomas tweeted that his hand was broke. And then ESPN the next day said that Michael Thomas played with broken hand. That's the only way that I knew that he had a broken hand. I didn't hear that from Sean Payton. I didn't hear that from the Saints organization. I heard that from the guy who said his hand was broke. And that was during a divisional round of the playoffs. But I've always, once again, back to Eli Apple, I've given him the benefit of the doubt. I've always mentioned that. I never went up here and just dragged this man through the coals and just don't give a logical explanation about it. I don't say that a guy sucks and that's just it. If I say that he stinks, I'm telling you why. I'm telling you plays. I'm telling you research. I'm telling you analytics. That is what I'm doing. That is what I do. I feel like it's just not fair. It's not fair for us to just put people in, and we see knee injuries. We don't know the severity of people's knee injuries or arm injuries. ATJ, I'm from New Orleans as well. Question: how often did you attend block parties and Super Sundays? King Arthur, never. I never went. Man, I had one of the strictest mothers in the world, bro. I didn't go nowhere. If I went past the first block, she yelling out the door. My mom didn't let me really do too much of anything. Then on top of that, man, I had a really Christian family. My grandfather was a minister, so anything like that, my mom tried to keep us away from. Cause if you ever watch that special on Lifetime, the Clark sisters, that's kind of what we were like. Except we didn't sing. Okay, she just wanted to keep us in the house and tell us we can't be in the secular world. Nah, I'm just joking, man. My mom went like that, but I mean, she did keep us away from. She did keep us away from like certain things like that, man. My mom was really overprotective of us growing up. Let's see, Invictus. People say one thing and do another all the time. I've had broken plenty bones and played with pins in my ankle. Kamara has not played with same joy nor intensity since Mark left. Have you ever played in the NFL though, Verlin? That's a different beast, man. And then on top of that, like I said, man, we can't compare people injuries. And like I said, I'm not trying to discredit you at all, Verlin. You're entitled to your opinion, but I just feel like, man, that's just not right for us to do. We can't say what a person is supposed to be. We don't know the whole story. That's like, to me, what I'm saying? That's like saying, a person is full of garbage. They're a terrible person. And you just meeting them, but they probably having a bad day. They whole life might be in shambles. You don't know. Sometimes, we got to give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, if he come out there and play like hot garbage, he don't play good this season, then we can have an argument, man. But the first two seasons, I'm not going to erase what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got the Men in Black neuralizer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got that. You know what I'm saying? I'll look at a guy's body of work. No, ever grow. You don't get it. You think I side? I ain't talking about that. I'm sorry, Giggins. I can't roll with politics. TJ, I usually do a mock draft, but I don't want to disappoint myself. Man, do a mock draft. Nothing wrong with that. Dwayne says, "Let give TJ some love, everybody. Hit that like button, man. Appreciate it, man. Like, give me a like button if you want to, man. If you want to, Yeah, I appreciate y'all if you do. I'm a Ravens fan. Saints really need a pass rusher that will solve their problem. Now, they already have a pass rusher. They need another one on the other side of Cam Jordan. He told a kid at the hospital after the Titans game that he broke his hand on that record-breaking catch. So that's how I learned it. I learned about it like I said, when somebody went at him because he was talking about Stephon Diggs. I didn't know. I didn't know if he broke his. I don't know if he told that kid he broke his hand though. I don't know if he said he broke his hand, Invictus. Let's go back and look at that when it's over. I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull that up when he was at the hospital. I know the kid asked him what happened to his hand. He was like, "Oh, just a little something." He was like, "It's okay," but he might have told him. I got to go back and take a look at that. I don't know if he told him he broke his hand though. Thomas played injured and still balled out. Thomas just doesn't broadcast every little injury. Mama Apple needs to play D-back. She got that fire. TJ, when they played the last game, I think it was when Thomas tried to dive into the end zone. I think that's when he broke his hand. I think it was against the Titans. I think that's when he did it because he went to the hospital, I think the next day. TJ, you couldn't go to the Candy Lady either. Oh yeah, man, I can go to Candy Lady now. I can go to Candy Lady. Miss Jessie, Yeah, my mama let me do that now. But other stuff, no. Uh, Dorian 7 T1, thank you very much for the $5 donation, my friend. I really do appreciate that so much. Um, yeah, my mama was real strict though. She definitely was strict. She didn't really let us go anywhere. It was amazing how I learned how to play football. Cause she did not let us really go outside like that. Like we had to sneak outside, and then she get so frustrated, like, and she'll say, "Man, well, y'all be outside, y'all don't go too far. If I can't see y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all to come back in the house." But my mom was just trying to protect us, man. Anybody that grew up in New Orleans in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, man, y'all know, man, it was a war zone out there. So my mom was just trying to keep us safe, man, keep us out these streets. Having three sons and a daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like, things can easily happen. And, man, she would just try to do the best she can, man. Shouts out to all the single moms out there. I love my mom to death. She did the best that she could to try to keep us safe. So I'm not mad at her for that, for her being overprotective. She just did the best thing she could for us. So let's see. TJ, when we played the last game, I think that's when Thomas tried to dive. Yeah, I think so. I think it was against, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was against the Titans. We need a yards after the catch receiver in the draft. Who's your favorite? Yards after the catch, Brandon Ayuk or Laviska Shenault. Those are my two favorites. I got disconnected from the stream somehow, TJ. Did you speak on Everson Griffin? No, Kane Arthur, I didn't. I think the Saints need to try to take a look at Everson Griffin, but looking at the depth on their line, I'll be highly surprised if they end up getting him. I hope they do, though. I like him a lot. Yeah, you turned out fine because of her. Yeah, man. Well, my mom is a warrior, man. My mom is incredible, incredible lady. I couldn't ask for a better mom. People talk about me. Oh, you always with your son and stuff. I'm like, that's why my mom was. She was always with us. I feel like that would be a slap in her face for me not to be a good parent to my son. And it scares the heck out of me, man. This is my first son. You know what I'm saying? My first child, I should say. You know, it scares me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, he'll be in a bed with us because he don't like sleeping in his crib. And I look over, I can't believe I have a son. You know what I'm saying? But it's the best thing in the world. And I just try to do my best because I seen that in my mom. That's not a bad idea, TJ. Hold on, let me see. Somebody donated. Mr. E. Jones donated $10. My brother, literally, my brother just donated $10. Literally, my brother, man. So y'all know EJ Jones, man. Y'all probably hear him on the stream, on the videos. That is my motivation. Y'all would not know who TJ Jones was if it wasn't for my brother's influence in my life. Ken Arthur donated $2. Big fan, man. I support objective football analysis. Thank you so much, Ken Arthur. Without my brother EJ, there would be no TJ Jones. I love football and I love sports because of that guy. So if y'all see him in the chat, which is Mr. E. Jones, man, y'all give him a thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all give him a shout out. I just wanted to be like him growing up, man. He set the standard. He was the first one of us to go to college and graduate. I'll never forget, you know what I'm saying? He motivated me to go to school. He was like, I remember we were sitting at the bus stop, man. I don't know if you remember this, man. It was on Chef Mentor Highway. It was on Chef and around Gentilly Terrace. And we was waiting on a Franklin bus. No, we was waiting on a Broad bus. We was waiting on a Broad bus, the RTA. And I was in my senior year of high school. And I remember I asked my brother, I said, how's college? And he was like, well, it's not bad. He was like, it's what you make it. He don't know what those few words meant to me, man. And, I think that it had a lot to do with like some of when I was dealing with trials and tribulations in college, and especially in my freshman year, Dillard having a issue fitting in, he taught me and helped me to believe in myself and find out who I really was. I ended up going to Jackson State and graduating. And like I said, my brother set the standard, man. So I got a lot of respect for him. And like I say, I love sports because of him. Because I always just wanted to talk sports because I just wanted to be like him. Hey TJ, I'm from Homer, close to New Orleans. I don't know if you heard of Homer. Yeah, man. Yeah, I heard of Homer. I've been to Homer a couple of times. Absolutely, man. Shouts out to you, Jermaine. Shouts out to Homer. Let's see. I'm all for it. TJ, I hear Monday Night Football analysis slide is still open since Breeze passed on it for Sunday night. Send your application in. Nah, man, I'm good. I don't want to, that's the thing. I know I do these YouTube shows, but I don't want to be in front of a camera, in front of a nationwide audience. I want to be behind the mic. I want to be a radio personality. And I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but the reason I want to be a radio personality and the reason I decided to do radio, because radio, in my opinion, is the one job you can do that you can live forever. It's the one job that you can do that you will never die. If y'all think about this, folks, like my great-grandkids, my great-great-grandkids can go back and hear their great-great-grandfather on the radio, doing audio, doing podcast. That is the reason why I decided that I wanted to do broadcasting. And on November 22nd, 1963, Walter Cronkite, one of the greatest news anchors in history, told the entire world that JFK got assassinated. ABC News told us, NBC News told us, but Walter Cronkite, him removing his glasses and getting choked up, is one of the biggest and greatest memories ever. Okay? Him announcing that JFK got shot before he announced to the world that he got assassinated lives in infamy. That is the reason why I decided I wanted to do broadcasting. Straight up. It's the one job that you can live forever. Let's see. It's not that Mark left the way that he did. The way they was played Kamara. He gave us 7.1 yards, splitting carries with Ingram. It dropped when he became the feature back. Check out his carries year by year. He gives us more with less. Thank you very much for the $20, Jerry. Man, it was he was the feature back, but the Saints didn't really run the football. Honestly, man, you got to be committed to the run. They weren't committed to the run, man. Why are we doing this? Why are we acting like the Saints was around this thing trying to be the 92 Dallas Cowboys or they were trying to be the 2000 Ravens? They were not trying to run the football. The Saints were trying to push that ball down the field. They were trying to throw the football. The Saints only ran the ball for like 5 weeks, and that's when Drew Brees was down. They didn't even give a dude an opportunity to get hot. The Saints didn't even try to preheat the oven. They didn't try to preheat the oven, folks. They didn't. And they just wanted to throw the football all over the place, man. I'm like, how can we just sit up here and pretend like these dudes weren't trying to, they were not trying to run the football. They were not. They weren't, Jerry. So he probably was averaging that, but the Saints were running the football a lot. They were running the football a lot with Ingram and Kamara, man. They were. They weren't running the football last year. They wasn't, bruh. I'm sorry, they just wasn't. They were not trying to run the football. Sean Payton was just so impatient last season. He was just so impatient. You got to preheat the oven, man, before you cook the meal, bruh. You got to have those ugly yards. You got to have the 1 and the 2 yards, and you got to be patient with that. I guarantee you if they was patient with it, you'll probably see a higher average. I never seen a team throw the football so much with a 14-point lead. I have never seen a team throw the football so much with a 3 touchdown lead in my life. I never, ever seen this in my life. I'm like, God, dog, man, run the football. I'm like, man, sheesh. That used to bother me. I'm like, man, how can we critique anybody in the running game from last season? I come away from the running. I come away from the running game from last season like with so many unanswered questions. I can't even blame these dudes because they ain't running football. They ain't running football enough for me, man. What high school did you attend in NOLA? I attended George Washington Carver High School. My ninth grade year, I went to Frederick Douglass High School. Shouts out to them Bobcats. And shouts out to them Rams. TJ, you should do a mock draft. I might do that. King Arthur, I might do that, bro. I might do that for you. Ode to your big bro. Walter was the man back then. Yeah, man. I'm betting TJ went to Landry or Walker at the time. Just kidding. I went to West Jeff, TJ. Man, nah, man. I ain't go to Landry. I ain't go to Walker. Man, we used to hate Walker. I'll never forget that legendary fight on Canal Street. Now I wasn't in it, but you know what I'm saying, I was just on the bus. And I remember Carver High School and Old Perry Walker, they met on Canal Street and had an epic fight, man. That was crazy. They hated each other though. We hated them. Had a lot to do with the fact that my senior year of high school, we played in the playoffs against Old Perry Walker. And Old Perry Walker was like a real good team because at the time they had this big time running back and he was like getting like recruited to go to different schools and stuff like that. Can't think of the cat name. And we beat them. And Old Perry Walker was just so butthurt. No disrespect, nobody went to Walker. But they ended up saying that we had an ineligible player on our team. Guy, I think he was like 19 or something like that. He lied and said he was 17. And he didn't even start. Like I think the game was like kind of out of reach, so he was just in the game. So somebody on Walker team recognized the guy because I think he ended up going to Walker or something like that because he was a guy that changed schools a lot. And Walker blew the whistle. And then the coaches end up going to Baton Rouge and instead in front of High School Athletic Association, and they end up allowing Walker to take our place because they said that we had an eligible player and they suspended our season. So it's always been bad blood between Walker and Carver because we felt like that was our year. That was the year that we was gonna win a championship. Chenault is like a running back with the ball in his hands after the catch. Devin Duvernay is a real sleeper, and I can see him playing in the slot for the Saints. Yeah, you're probably right, man. Laviska Chenault reminds me a lot of man. I'm having a brain fart. He played for us, and everybody wanted him to man, what's the dude's name? I feel so oh my goodness. He came from the Seattle Seahawks. Why can I not remember this guy's name? Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall. Yeah, he reminds me of Brandon Marshall. I don't know why I couldn't remember Brandon Marshall's name. The point about 8K yards per carry dropping is invalid because we weren't committed to the run. Keen Arthur, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's all my point is. Look, give him another year, then we can talk. I've been told that I have the perfect face for radio. Oh man. Let's see. Those comebacks by the Panthers and 49ers killed me inside. Yeah, me too. How you see this Kamara situation playing out, TJ? Well, I see the Saints signing him, probably not for that big $16 million a year contract that McCaffrey got, but he'll be there. Sean Payton is the reason for the drop off. That's what I'm ill. Yep, me too. Me too. I feel like he's responsible for the drop off. In that Buffalo game a few years back, we ran the ball like 30 times straight, I believe. Yep, and you see what happened, huh? Wore them boys out. Never forget we lost 9-26 to the Falcons and only ran the ball with Kamara 4 times, and those 4 runs, he averaged 6. Yeah. He don't care about the run. He not committed to it. Lord, that fight is still a legend to this day. Landry and Walker were basically man, we couldn't stand him though. We couldn't stand Walker. Like old Perry Walker, man. You went to old Perry Walker, like I don't know, man. I couldn't like this was during the time when Mike Wallace and Keenan Lewis were there. Like, yeah, this was during the time when they were there. I went to high school during the time when they were there. What year did the fight happen? This happened like 2000, yeah, 2004, because I was a senior. He's a great coach. How about Bell Chase Cardinals, man? Shouts out to Bell Chase, man. I like Bell Chase. I'm trying to figure this. I don't think nah, we weren't in the same district. I know that Culver was like really good, and they took us like out of 9A. They took us out of 9A because like, we were playing like 35 and Douglas and stuff like that, man. But like it was beating the brakes off them, so they put us like in they put us in a different division. Like we was like playing like, Landry and Kennedy and Old Perry Walker. We played schools like that. I attended West Jeff when it was all boys school from 80 to 83, then graduated from my most hated rival, John Eric, in 84. Yeah. I want to say, I think my brother, I don't think he taught at Everett. I don't think he taught at Everett. Yo, EJ, man, what school you teach at? I know my brother's a teacher. I can't remember what school he teaches at, though. I can't remember what school he teach at. I don't know if he taught at Everett before. I think he might have. Like, I'm talking about after the hurricane. I can't think of the school my brother teaches at now. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell us. I'm pretty sure he still watch. But, yeah, shouts out to John Everett, man. I used to like John Everett. Didn't Cardell Stewart go to John Everett? Yeah, did Cardell Stewart go to John Everett? Hey, TJ, how do you feel about Breeze coming back? I'm okay with it, but I hope he don't give us games like he gave us in the playoff. Me too. I'm glad he back, man. He deserves to. What's good from Charleston, man? Shouts out to Charleston, South Carolina. Cause if you're in Charleston, South Carolina, man, I'm about an hour and 30 minutes from you. My friend. AJ Johnson. AJ Johnson, the comedian. I'm just kidding. Thank you very much for your $5, man. Let's see. But Jermaine, yeah, I'm glad he back, man. He deserves to retire on his on his own. My senior year was 04 at Kennedy. Yeah, my senior year was 04 at Carver. Yeah, man. Shouts out to Kennedy, man. I ain't had nothing against Kennedy. Man, right over there by City Park. Right over there. Yeah, man. I'm my job is in Hemingway, South Carolina. I live out in Myrtle Beach. Charleston is a beautiful place, man. If you've never been to Charleston, South Carolina, man, you want to go. So much history out there, and y'all know I'm a history buff, so I love it. I like their downtown area. Shouts out to Charleston. Why the hell do we still have PJ? PJ is going to play safety. Yeah, I hope so, man. PJ Williams, man, I don't know, man. I don't know why they still got him, man. But people saying this for depth, but I don't know, man. They said, people who try to reenact their history are bound to repeat their history. That's all I gotta say. Okay, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I'll leave it at that. Double A gap pressure gives Breeze happy feet lately. Yeah, man. I mean, pressure coming right in your face. Of course. That'll make you nervous, man. You're not as nimble as you once were. I'm in Goldsboro, North Carolina, TJ. Yeah, shouts out to, I don't know, Higgins. Okay, yeah, my brother works at Higgins High School. Somebody calling from Athens, Alabama. Hello, Radio Baha'i. And they don't answer. We've been getting spam calls here at the station. I don't know why, but anyway. I live right next to City Park. It's such a blessing just to walk right across the street and take a stroll over there. Yeah, man, I can imagine. I used to love City Park. I used to love that. Uh, my mom used to come out there and pick that stuff off them trees, man. I remember that. Like when she used to make like Christmas baskets and stuff like that. She used to come out there and get that stuff off there. I can't think of the correct name of it, but she used to go out there and like get the stuff and make baskets out of it and stuff. And then they had like a weird time where you couldn't pick it off the trees no more, like because people was getting it, which was weird. I don't know. Yeah, that moss. Yeah, the moss off the trees. Yeah, she used to go out there. She used to make like baskets. You remember that, E? When Mama used to go out there, we used to go out there in City Park. Man, we were young, and she used to like make Christmas baskets and stuff like that. Man, my mom been hustling a long time. Man, like nobody can tell me nothing about no hustling, man. My mama used to be out there hustling, making Christmas baskets, plotting, candy. She used to do it all, man. I couldn't stand Higgins or Carr. I couldn't stand Higgins, man. I couldn't stand Higgins either. Right on, I attended Higgins semester co-ed, messed up Jefferson Parish school system in the early 80s. Yeah, man. That was before my time right there, Dwayne. It was before my time, my brother. So I have to take your word for it. Kennedy and Aberson was the stuff in basketball. Yeah. Kennedy and Abe, yeah. Yeah, Kennedy and Abe. Yeah, they did it. '03, Carver won the state basketball championship my junior year. I ain't play or nothing like that, you know. My brother EJ the one with the basketball skill. That boy there can shoot. Play some defense too, you know what I'm saying? But he was a better shooter. Like I was the football player, he was the basketball player. Yeah, so yeah, man, I enjoyed this. I know I've been talking to y'all about almost 2 hours. Like I said, man, it's a down day. Basically, I'm just here. I already, put some commercials in. My job consists of when people submit announcements to record them. That's kind of what I do. And of course, supposed to be going on the air in about 35 minutes in the afternoon. So that's one of my jobs to do that. But when nothing's going on, there's nothing to announce because everybody's practicing social distancing. It's kind of just laid back. Our linebackers are good, but they're injury prone. Outside of Davis, do we go at? Yeah, I agree, man. They're good, but they're just, like you say, injury prone. I agree with that, Jerry. They definitely got to get a little bit better, take care of themselves. One thing about the New Orleans is our battle of the bands used to be epic. Yeah, they used to, man. But I'll tell you a little secret. I'm not really into bands like that. I'm not. I'm not. I've never really been into bands. Like going to HBCU. I know that's blasphemous, right? Going to Jackson State, the sonic boom of the South, who I love, by the way. I just never really been into bands like my friends. Like I never really been into like my friend. Shouts out to my boy Mike Walls, who played at Texas Southern in Alcorn before he went to Jackson State. This man went all over. But they be like so into the bands, and I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like they sound good, but I don't know, man. It's just not my thing. But I like I like what they bring. You know what I'm saying? They sound good. I like the rivalry aspect of it, but just not my thing. Hey, Van Joseph, Broncos ex-coach, was a bad dude at Archbishop Shaw, and his big brother Mickey was even better. Yeah, man, Van Joseph, I heard he was really good. I thought he was real good. What do you mean you didn't play in the bands or you didn't like listening to him? No, I said I just no Invictus. I said I wasn't like really into bands. Like I wasn't into bands. I ain't say I didn't like them. I just didn't really pay attention to them like that. And I don't know, man. I can't get that type of excited than other people do. When it comes to it, like. Oh man, that's my jam. They playing right there, man. What they gonna come back with? What they gonna come back with? Fifth quarter type stuff. I just never really been into that type of stuff. but I enjoy it. And, I got a lot of school pride, so, can't be talking about Sonic Boom in the South, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure, if you went to Southern, you can't talk about the human jukebox, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you have that type of pride, but I don't know. Like, I just never really been into it like that. That boy Joseph went to Nebraska, huh? Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I mean, just my friends, man. Like, I'm like the only one of my friends that's really not into bands like that. I'm not sure if you answered already, but what would you offer Kamara after the Christian McCaffrey deal? I'd probably offer him about 13 or 14 million dollars. No more than 14. TJ, do you think quarterback or linebacker is more pressing for us in the draft? I feel like a linebacker or quarterback. I'm kind of on the fence with it, man. I'm kind of conflicted, Jerry. No, who was that? No, I'm sorry, King Arthur. I'm kind of conflicted, man. I'm conflicted by that. I don't know what I want. They need both of them. But if you want to talk about a bigger need, then it would be a linebacker because you still got Drew Brees. I got you, TJ. You went for the games and was probably getting at the women doing. Oh man, I was there for the game. I was there for the game. Yeah, man. I'm into the X's and the O's, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I was into. Do you really think they're gonna play football this fall? Yeah, they should. I think like just looking at some of this stuff and some of the researchers, and it seems like it's almost kind of reaching its peak. So things should be probably back to normal around early July. I hope. Do you really think they're gonna play football this fall? Already answered that. Yep, I really do. Um, Yeah, man. I really just don't. I just don't think that the New Orleans Saints are going to give Alvin Kamara that type of money. I just don't. I think they're going to be, like I said, between like no more than $14 million. I can't see that. I can't see him breaking a bank and being an all time, the highest paid running back in NFL history. I can't see that. High school in Philly was all about the beatdown. Beat the team on the field and then rumble on the subway. Yeah, man, y'all do it different out there in Philly, man. Y'all do it different out there. Y'all, that's a different type of cat out there, bruh. Y'all different out there. Yeah, I'm an ex-musician who battled the likes of St. Aug, LB Landry, Warren Easton, John Mack, and McDonald 35. Good old days. Yeah, man. Shouts out to the Marching 100. Warren Eastern Band, John Mack. That's what my mama went to. My mom graduated from John Mack. 35. Them prison uniform with the brown on brown. I remember that. You used to wear them brown Dickies and that brown Dickies shirt looking like they straight out the pen somewhere. And girls had them, what they had that maroon plaid pants and white shirts. Man, them the days right there. And Carver had the ugliest color, orange and green, looking like Halloween everywhere we go. But still, we used to rep that orange and green. Sunshine was a goat. He wasn't good at handling the ball, off though, so he would be perfect for us. Yeah, because we don't run the football. Patriots won many championships by trading players a year before their contracts was up. But here we go. Here we go. Yeah, but unlike Grayland, unlike the Patriots, man, we don't have Bill Belichick. I love Sean Payton. I really do. But he is not a better coach than Bill Belichick is. He does not have a better mind than Bill Belichick does. Sean Payton is a guy is really stubborn. Bill Belichick understands that he can't win in week 5 like he will in week 6. Okay? When it comes to Sean Payton, he wants to play his way. He wants to win with his guys. And he wants everybody to basically kiss his behind and say how great of a man and how great of a leader and how great of a coach he is. From taking the lowly, pathetic New Orleans Saints franchise and making them a legit contender. His biggest asset is his biggest failure. That is what it is. You know what I'm saying? His mind is his biggest failure. Okay? Bill Belichick, honestly, once again, I love Sean Payton, but Sean Payton ain't even in the same room as Bill Belichick when it comes to coaching. And I like him. And I like Sean Payton a lot, but he ain't sniffing Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach of all time, in my opinion. Put him up there with John Wooden, Vince Lombardi. I feel like when he retires, they need to name an award after him, like the Belichick Coach of the Year or something. They need to do something. He is the greatest coach I ever seen. I mean, like I said, I wasn't old enough to appreciate Don Shula. I wasn't old enough to appreciate John Madden. I wasn't old enough to appreciate Bill Walsh. Bill Belichick is that guy, all those guys to me. Sean Payton is not better than Bill Belichick. So back to what I was saying, Grayling, like he has a great mind and he understands the X's and O's. He understands the rule books and he understands how to manipulate the rule book. Sean Payton hasn't got to that level yet. McDonald 35 had terrible uniforms. Yes, they did. But Grayling, like I said, man, you know, he can do those things. Sean Payton can't. Because Sean Payton isn't the GM. Bill Belichick is. He is the GM and a head coach. Sean Payton get arrogant at times. At times? How about all the time? He's a defensive coach, though, bro, so you can't really compare them. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can, my friend. You can compare them because you think it's a coincidence that Bill Belichick's defense plays really well, his offense plays pretty well, and they change up the offensive schemes from week to week. And don't say it's Josh McDaniels because we seen Josh McDaniels leave and the Saints and the Patriots still go to the Super Bowl. They still make the playoffs, and there's not even a drop off in the production of the offense. Bill Belichick is a better coach than Sean Payton. Let's remove the Homer tag from our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Right now, let's take it off our shirts. Bill Belichick is a better coach than Sean Payton. He's a better overall coach than Sean Payton. Sean Payton is not on his level. Sean Payton is a really great offensive mind, but he ain't touching Belichick. I ain't even gonna try to debate that. Nobody is better coach than Belichick, all things considered. They're not, man. We can talk about the cheating scandals and all that kind of stuff, but dude was a heck of a coach. How do we know Belichick just got carried by Tom Brady? He's 19-19 with the Patriots without Tom Brady. Well, let's. I'm about to tick somebody off. Invictus. How do we know that Sean Payton? Y'all know where I'm going with this. How do y'all know Sean Payton is as good as he is? Okay, how is he? How do we know without Drew Brees? How do we know if he's that guy? We don't know. We don't know, right? So I don't know. So you can't say that. You can't say that, but we're gonna find out now. This is one of the stupidest things I ever heard, TJ. Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know what people talking about with Bill Belichick. I just don't I don't know. I think that he's a better, like I said, I don't know how he's going to be without Tom Brady, but I do know this. He was there for the ride. And some of the way that he coached some of those games, a few of those games wasn't Tom Brady dependent. It was running game dependent. It was defensive dependent. He found ways to win. I love Sean Payton too, but he made some critical and crucial mistakes that cost us probably a championship or two. Yeah, the NFC Championship game. Yeah, and that game last season, in the wild card game. You know, I'm not saying keep Taysom Hill in, but they definitely should have ran the football. I don't think he even gets $12 million per, likely less. Saints don't pay running backs. Also, where I see problems, if you him $13 million, how you gonna pay Ramczyk and Lattimore? Man, they gonna find a way, DLP. They gonna find a way. I mean, we say this all the time. How you gonna pay this person? How they gonna pay that person? And then the next thing you know, all of them paid. So Might lose one, you know what I'm saying? You know, somebody might be a Von Bell, but you keep the core of the guys. I'm not saying Peyton is better than Belichick if you're wondering. Oh no, I'm not saying that. I know you're not saying that, Invictus. Uh This is my brother. What I didn't like about New Orleans recruiting football players from the parks is how dudes playing at Curtis, Brother Martin, De La Salle, and that what made the public school talent not as good. I agree, man. You know, they used to be pulling from us. They used to be come to them parks and be pulling some of our best talent that could have been beneficial to our communities, you know. But, that's the way they do it. And Sean I trust, he is a cocky SOB and got a mean streak. He is bad at high stake chess though. He horrible. I would not want to go to Vegas with Sean Payton. If you go to Vegas with Sean Payton, you might end up walking back home. Okay? Because he gonna let it all hang out. Okay. Him and Les Miles, I would not want to go to Vegas with them. With the talent we have, we should have at least 2 chips in the last 3 years. I agree. Squander some great opportunities, man. That's hilarious. Yeah, I agree. Belichick had a better coaching strategy than any coach. Cheating in a hole. hey, he had that. He found ways, right? And they didn't take away them championships. You can say whatever you want about the cheating scandals, but nobody ain't gonna care. Nobody ain't gonna care. They still gonna look at him as one of the greatest coaches of all time. They still do. We only seen 6 games Peyton coaching without Breeze, not counting week 17 bye. And one of those games, McCown threw a game in the touchdown. I remember that when he threw it to Josh Norman. And the last year, he was a front runner for Coach of the Year with Teddy. I agree. Like I said, I mean he's a good coach. But I'm saying, being 5-1 with a quarterback nobody really can prepare for because they don't know how he's gonna approach the game is one thing. I don't know, man. But me, like I said, like I'm not trying to disrespect Sean Payton. Like I said, I love Sean Payton, but he's not a better coach than Belichick, in my opinion. Breeze skills makes Peyton offense go, and Brady did the same for Belichick. Can either be at their best without the other. We'll see, and we'll see this year with Brady and Belichick. But I will say this, man. Brady and Belichick, they had some good years, man. But we have to, man. Bill ain't afraid to run a football when he know that a team is ranked number 30 against a rush. He'll change his whole game plan around in order to accommodate for that. Sean Payton not gonna do that. A team can be 30th against the rush. He's still gonna throw the ball about 35, 40 times a game and run the ball about 10. So that's the difference. Your Payton statements are getting me all heated. I'm sorry, Martin, but it's true, in my opinion. Like I said, I love Sean Payton. Ain't no, but he not. What proof do we have that he's better than Bill Belichick? Besides the fact that we love the Saints and we don't like anybody saying anything negative against the Saints or their players. He coached completely different with Teddy B. Yep. He ran the ball more with Teddy. Jerry, and that really what ticks me off, my friend, because by him running the football with Teddy as much as he did, that just tells me right there he could have ran the football the whole doggone time, and he didn't. He's also approached defenses more with Allen since he knew defense would be on the field more than usual. Yep. And I tell you what, like I said, it just makes me upset that they ran that football and played that type of defense. And I know y'all remember some of my earlier videos when I was like, man, when Drew Brees come back, these guys gonna be unstoppable. It's like the defense took a back seat, running game took a back seat when Drew came back. So it makes you wonder, man, like, is Drew Brees a crutch to the team? You know what I'm saying? Is he the crutch? You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're gonna find out really soon. Peyton gonna still run the ball against a 30-second defense. Yep, he gonna run the football 1 or 2 times. Then when they get like 1 or 2 yards, then he gonna be like, let's throw it all over the place. Also think you could put Breeze in Patriots team and would be just as good, if not better, but Brady wouldn't have all those Super Bowls with the Saints. I don't know, man. You know, hindsight is 2020. I don't know. Do you think they add anything to the uniforms? I say no need to. Maybe a black helmet. I don't know. Probably in the future. I don't see that no time soon. Like I said, you got a lot of people that love tradition. The team we saw versus the Cardinals is the team I want to see all year next year. Great defense, passed a bunch, but was effective, and Latavius had 100 yards. Not me, Invictus. The team that I want to see is them playing against like the Bears, the Bears, the Seahawks. That's the team I want to see, man. I ain't worried about no Cardinals, man. That's the team I want to see because you going up against a Chicago Bears team in Soldier Field, playing against a really good defense. Seattle, you're playing at one of the loudest venues, and you beat them. That's what team I want to see. Y'all all forgetting that we don't have the luxury of the easiest division ever. No, we don't, but I still think the Saints are a better team and they're gonna win the division. But man, this has been fun. You know, it's probably the longest. I think we beat. Did we? I think we beat the wild card game live. I think we beat it. I think we beat it, folks. This has been fun, man. I enjoy spending time with you all, answering questions, seeing where you stand. Talked about life, talked about the Saints, talked about life again. But it's almost time for me to get on the air, man, and you know, do my thing. But thank you all very much for your time. Thank you all for your donations and support. And this is the State of the Saints podcast. And if this is your first time checking out the podcast, I do a video every single day. And I encourage you to check out some of my previous videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. And also Instagram, TJAY Jones _ and Twitter @State of Saints. So much love to everybody. Hope everybody has a good and productive day and be safe out there. All right. So y'all take care. Till next time. All I got to